Would help if I had complete control over my technology. Hello, everyone. Hello. How are you all doing? Hello. How are you all doing? How are we all today? I hope we're good. Hello, M0. Hello, Pippi. Hello, Yoavko. Hello, Potter. Hello, something stochastic. Hello, Orashiro. Is everyone? Hello, Boomer. Hello. How are we all doing today? How are we all doing today? I hope you're good. I hope you're all good. Because you lost control of your life. That's why it's so true. I feel attacked. Don't attack me like this. There's no need. My music's too loud. I'm confused. I don't know what's happening. As always, I have no plans. I have not planned anything. I just got gifted a sub. What? Okay, I just got gifted a sub to a different channel. I'm very confused. What's going on? Hello, everyone. Oh no, I haven't had enough caffeine and I haven't had enough sugar. I feel distinctly less hyper than I did last time, which is quite sad. There was no more ice cream, you know, that's just how it is. I've had a normal dinner today, I promise. Oh no, cold day out? Yeah. Cold. I would know. I've totally left the house in the last week. Twitch be generous. Genuinely, actually, sometimes I wonder how like the random gifted sub algorithm works. Because like I get gifted subs to channels that I've clicked on maybe like once or never even clicked on. I've like hovered over it for 3 seconds. And then I'm like, why have I just received this sub? I don't understand. And then half the time it's not even a channel that I would actually go and watch. So I don't really understand it. Sometimes I wonder whether it's just like people that I've raided into and haven't realized because I've been like, you know, not paying attention, which happens fairly regularly. And then like I don't know. I just end up there and then I leave and forget about them and then I get the sub. I don't know. I've always wondered. Thank you for the follow. How do I say that? Dian Yan? Wait, no. Yeah. Progenan? No, wait. I don't know. Tell me how to say your name. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. The confusion is already starting. It's already kicked in. We don't know where we're doing, what we're doing, or where we are. This is terrible. This is a good start. Yes. Proja. Is it Proja or Proja? Like if I'm prodding someone aggressively. Yes. Okay, I see. Good evening. Good evening to you too. Welcome in. A radium clock RNG. Actually, this is tempting. This is very tempting. Okay, sometimes I do actually kind of want a radium clock though. Imagine how fun that would be. I don't have one, and that makes me sad. And I feel like I should get one. But I don't know where to get one. And I don't know if it's even legal for me to own one actually. So, put it on throne. I'm going to buy a piece of scientific equipment and none of you can stop me. Fund my lab. I'm not getting any other funding. Terrible. What is the state of the economy? Am I right? Oh my gosh. More curious because I'm a nerd and I love stats. This is the other thing, right? I always want to know how the algorithms work just out of sheer interest as well. Like part of me is like, I'm interested in this and I want to know more because stuff like that, because I'm a stats nerd. And sometimes I'm like, I'm interested and I want to know more because I want to see how people respond to it in various ways. I think that's very fun and interesting. Yes. Hi, Nightmind. Welcome in. How you doing? Actual dairy. Yes, I agree. Hydrate and be mindful. Okay, we got this. How many I think I owe you some again and I don't remember how many. If you remember how many, tell me and we will get through them. Probably multiple because that seems to be how it always goes. Even like literally nothing will stop the be mindful backlog. And thank you for the hydrate as well. I've got tea. Okay, right. I've got a different tea today. Since I keep being bullied and being told you don't try enough teas, I'm trying a new tea. Okay. Today I've got lemon and ginger, and it's horrible. I hate it. I really don't like it, but I'm going to drink it anyway because I don't like food waste and it bothers me. So I'm going to keep drinking it even though my heart is telling me not to. That's the plan. My plan is to suffer, but it's... I was going to say it's for the greater good, but I'm not even sure it is. 10,000 points will stop it? 10,000 points will stop what? The backlog? Yes. Ending the backlog of things that I owe via channel points. Is this the plan? Oh my gosh. Okay, let's do the be mindful. So I've got 2 of them and I think that should cover the debt. I'm not sure. Possibly 3. No, I think it's 2. Okay, so we've got 2 cards today. We've got 2 mindfulness cards. We're going to do 2 mindfulness tasks. That's the plan. So the first one is a kindness card. It says kindness. We're going to do something kind. Okay? So it says, phone an elderly relative for a chat. Stay in touch to let them know that you're thinking about them. I'm at work. I hope your shift goes well. But also I assume that means that you can't phone an elderly relative. Does this count? I think this counts. By VTuber standards, I'm a hag, so I guess this counts. And then the other one is journal. So phone calls are scary, right? I know this is not designed for millennials and zoomers, to be honest. I've not made an actual... No, I do make phone calls sometimes actually, but it's to like a specific list of people who I know are safe because I'm scared of them. I just enjoy the chaos of you remembering that you haven't done mindfulness. Well, now we have. So there you go. There you go. And then the second one is a journal prompt, which is titled, what would this chapter of your life be titled? That's a good question. I don't know. This chapter of my life would be titled constantly doing mindfulness routines. I feel like neither of these are very good prompts to have on stream, to be honest. They're both kind of difficult ones. If you had to name the current chapter of your life, what would you title it? This is too close to my PhD situation for me to be enjoying this, actually. I don't like thinking about how I'm going to title chapters. That upsets me too much. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of that one. No, thank you. No, thanks. I don't like it. 0 to Hero Redemption Arc Part 2. Excellent, yes. Mine would be just like, what's happening? No, okay, right. What would describe transitioning from finishing a PhD to having a real job and being an actual adult? Because whatever it is, it's that, you know? You know? Hi, Rivcon, welcome in. How you doing? I hope you're good. I started AD and I hope the title will be accurate. What is AD? What is that? I don't know what that is. I'm very out of context. I don't understand. Hi, Astro. How you doing? I missed the notification. Have I missed anything? No. I'm just yapping and complaining about my tea. I've got lemon and ginger tea and it's disgusting. I'm really disappointed because it's like Twinings as well. I stole it from a conference. So that makes this even more upsetting because normally conference tea that I've stolen is good. And this is meant to be a Twinings one, so it's meant to be fancy. And it's just disgusting. Like how can I... Ugh. Oh, I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't even taste like, there's no ginger. It says it's lemon and ginger, but it's gingerless. It just tastes like lemon in water, but like more water than lemon. It's really upsetting. I didn't sign up for this. I should have just made a normal cup of tea and just dealt with the caffeine effects. I regret my decisions. Anyway, that's what you've missed. Chapter 9, I feel scared, but I don't know what of. That's called anxiety. So true. So true. That would have been my chapter title when I was an undergrad, I think. Yeah, I relate to that. Also, welcome in, Yummy Cheese-san. How you doing? I hope you're good. I hope you're good. Gainful employment, is it real? Yes, I believe so. I think I'm in pretty good employment. I'm happy with my employer. I'm very, very happy. Why do mindfulness exercises feel so uncomfortable? Probably because you don't do them regularly. I think it's, yeah, like, I don't know. If you think about, if you're terminally online like I am, then it's just like a constant stream of input, right? Like for me, I'm working on something, okay? I'll be working. I don't know, I'll be working on a paper or something. And then I'll also have a stream open for like background visuals. And then I'll also probably have music open for background noise. And then I'll probably also have, I don't know, like multiple tabs open where I'm actually doing the work. And then that's like what most of my day is like, because even when I stop working, I still have lots of tabs open. So yeah, terminally online, terminally receiving sensory input. And mindfulness exercises kind of make you need to stop and just like be present. And it makes me feel weird sometimes. Sometimes it's fine, but sometimes it's weird. Because like for me personally, I don't like introspecting in that way either. Like I don't like just sitting and just introspecting. Not because I can't, but because I don't see the point. Like I think I've done enough introspecting throughout my life already. So like if I'm being like present in a moment, I would rather it be like actually in a moment, if that makes sense. Like for me, mindfulness is like walking through the street and like not recognizing, but like seeing things, like noticing things, you know, being aware of what's happening around me and like the people that are going past and what the environment actually looks like noticing things about buildings and stuff. That's what mindfulness is for me. And that's not uncomfortable. I enjoy doing that, right? But like the ones where you just sit and reflect on stuff, I think there needs to be a purpose to the reflection. Otherwise it feels weird. Because like if I'm just sat here and being like, what would the chapter of my life be titled? Like it doesn't, like, I'm like, why am I doing that? Like, I don't know. Whereas sometimes it's actually helpful in the sense of like, for example, today I had a meeting with my manager and I went into the meeting and I was like, I just feel really overwhelmed. Anyway, how are you doing? And then they were like, hold up a second. Why? Let's work this out. And then we talked it through and I worked out exactly why. And we managed to like put in a plan so that it wouldn't happen again. And I was like, see, that's useful introspection. But like for me personally, just being like arbitrarily, what would the title of your current life chapter be? I'm like, I don't know, and I don't really see why I need to know, you know? I don't know. Should have made some peppermint. No, I don't like that. I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all. Peppermint. Bleh. Bleh. Pleasure to stop by. Doing okay. It's a nice evening. I'm glad to hear it. I'm also doing okay. I'm glad you are too. It is a nice evening. Today is a good evening. We're going to make it a good evening even if it isn't. That's the plan. That was my previous chapter. Rags to Riches. Redemption Arc 1. Introspection. And then the time skip happened where nothing changed for years. Understandable. Understandable. Yeah. I think that like for me, like I had a big chunk of my like, well, it was just really my undergrad. When I was doing my undergrad, like life just didn't change really, but like not necessarily in a good way. And recently things have been changing in a good way and I'm happy, you know? And I feel lucky for that. I'm trying to work out the best way to put I'm confused. Oh, what are you doing? Windows. Hello? Okay. It's Windows is windowsing. Okay. Okay. It's hard to do mindfulness when you have ruminative thoughts, which is like a thing you do mindfulness to deal with. Yeah, you have to train yourself out of having them if they upset you, you know? That's what I've been told. That's what all of my clinical friends have told me, is that you have to train yourself out of them. Obviously, they know the techniques to do it. I don't. But I'm generally not very bothered by things, so yeah. What a nice thing to do as a manager. It was lovely. It was lovely. It was very nice. I really enjoy our meetings. I always feel like I get something really, really helpful out of them, you know? In a meeting at the moment, so now I'm here to lurk, even if I lost the opening ceremony. Thank you for lurking. I hope you have a good meeting, and I hope you have a good lurk. Thank you. It's like how exercise is harder when unfit. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. That would upset me. Let's not go there. Oh no. Oh dear. Have you tried catnip tea? No? Is that a thing? Can humans have that? What does catnip tea? Let's see. I feel like that's threatening. I'm not sure if I would try that. Catnip tea. The thing is that just putting random herbs into tea when it's not like 100%, when I don't know for a fact that it's safe, I'm get kind of nervous. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, is this FDA approved? Or whatever the equivalent is in whatever country, you know? And especially with like herbs like that, it's really, really hard to find out. And then like I found out a little while ago that I'm not meant to have a bunch of stuff because it like interacts with my like medical conditions or medication. And I was like, oh, that's news. Oh dear. That's terrible. Like I keep eating things and then not realizing until it's too late, you know? I keep not realizing until it's too late. So like the other day that we got for Christmas, we got this really nice little snack hamper from a relative, and it had like sweets in it, and they were fruit sweets, and like some of them were really, really good, and I ate like all of them, and then I looked at the packet and it was like, oh, it's got grapefruit in it, and I'm not meant to have grapefruit. It interacts with a bunch of my medication. And like I'd been having really bad symptoms for like the previous week while I'd been eating these sweets. I was like, why? Why am I having symptoms? I didn't sign up for this. What's going on? And then I was like, oh, it's that. And then I was like, oh, that was silly. That was silly. Hi, Basil. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. I hope you're good. Catnip tea is a herbal remedy made from steeping dried catnip leaves or flowers in hot water. It's traditionally used for a variety of conditions, including anxiety, insomnia, and headaches. I see. Oh, it can cause side effects at higher doses, and it's possibly unsafe for children and pregnant women. See, the fact it says possibly unsafe, that makes me nervous. That makes me nervous. Because the fact that it's possibly unsafe to me says that it hasn't had enough clinical testing for it to be definitely safe, you know? That makes me nervous. You found a new allergy? No, there's a food that like there's some foods that interact with my and like herbs and stuff that interact with the medication I'm on, and I'm too scared to like try random teas in case it interacts with them, you know? I get scared. I get really scared. Although saying that, that did remind me actually, after we talked about allergies the other day, I realized there is one more allergy that I have, which is utterly ridiculous given the context of me, which is that I'm allergic to potatoes. But like I can eat them fine. I just can't touch them because the second that I touch them, I break out in like horrible, horrible, horrible rashes. So that's funny, given that I live in Ireland. So that's yeah. That's not ideal. Terrible. Also, welcome in Robert Brown, Danktown Bunny, and that Red Panda. Welcome in. I hope you're all good. How are you all doing? And Guns, hello. How are you all doing? I hope you're all good. What a tragic allergy. It's not that bad because it just means I have to wear gloves when I prepare them. Like, it's weird. When they're cooked, it's totally fine. It's just when I touch raw ones. Like, obviously, I've never eaten one, so I don't know if eating a raw one would cause me an allergic reaction. I'm not inclined to find out. But, like, I also have the kind of, like, milder skin reaction to other things in the nightshade plant family. So, like, aubergines do it. Tomatoes do it. There's another one. I can't remember what. Is it bell peppers? I'm going to check. But like that entire family of plants like break me out in a rash to varying degrees of severity. The worst ones are the potatoes and the tomatoes. Yeah, eggplants do it. Sorry, aubergine is eggplant, but in British. My bad. Yes, eggplant / aubergines, they do it. Yeah, hang on, nightshades. Because it's been this is an annoying one that's like developed over the course of my life as well. It's like got worse as I've got older and I don't understand why. Apparently tobacco plants are nightshades. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I've learned something today. Let's see. So yeah, so potato, tomato, aubergine / eggplant, chili peppers and bell peppers. Yeah, that's also it. I can't touch raw chili peppers or bell peppers because they do the same thing. But they're like weirdly, bell peppers are largely okay. They're not too bad, but yeah, the rest of them are not good. And it's really annoying because I really like all of them. Like I'm a big nightshade enjoyer in terms of food, but I really just can't touch them. It's it's so weird. I have a friend that's the opposite. They can't eat cooked potatoes, but they can eat raw potatoes. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to eat raw potatoes. Like I swear they're poisonous. I wouldn't recommend that. Wait, can I eat raw potatoes? Okay, technically you can eat raw potatoes apparently, but it's not recommended because they're difficult to digest. I see. But you shouldn't eat a large chunk of it because it can give you stomach problems. That's okay. Not recommended to eat raw potatoes. Whether or not you have an allergy. Hi, Doc Rect. How are you doing? How you doing? I hope you're good. You're banned from salads with them? This is the weird thing. It doesn't matter whether they're raw or whether they're cooked. I can eat them regardless. It's just if they touch my actual skin. So like the second that they're like... So like I have a... I don't know how to describe this. Like when it's in my mouth, it's fine. Like if I eat a tomato, a raw tomato or a raw... I mean, I was going to say raw aubergine, but why would you eat that? Yeah, just tomato or pepper, I guess. That's fine. It doesn't cause me any problems, but the second that it's on my like skin, I break out in a rash that lasts for ages. It's really strange. I don't know. If they get exposed to light and turn green, then they're poisonous. Yeah, that was what I thought too. That was my impression. Green potatoes, not healthy, do not eat. 0 out of 10, not recommended actually. As a true American, the only potatoes I eat are French fries drowned in MSG. You're missing out. You can do a lot of things with potatoes. They're very versatile and very good. I honestly, like my main thing is I really like just putting them in soup. But I'm a big mashed potato enjoyer. I'm not gonna lie. I do like myself a bit of mashed potato. But then I will literally eat them however. So yeah. I've never found a potato dish that I didn't like. Let's put it that way, you know? Also, would not recommend eating raw potatoes. They taste terrible. Yeah, I can imagine. Because like I haven't even... Oh, it's the texture that I think would really upset me. Because they're like... Ew, they're too... No. Surely you have to crunch them? No. Crunch them, but they're also watery, like celery. No, thank you. Not interested in that. Blech. Not interested. Wouldn't the skin in your mouth react to it too? Weird. This is the thing. It is weird. It is weird, right? But like, my lips don't react, but like the skin around them does. I don't know. I think because like the quote unquote like the skin on in your mouth is kind of different to the skin, to like the top layer of skin that you have like on most of your body. So I don't know. Don't know. It's very strange. Mashed potato feels like a holiday dish here. Thanksgiving or Christmas potato. See, it's just like a regular dish here. It's like literally, I don't know. It's like just normal. It goes with anything. Like, yeah, you have it with literally anything. But then remember, I am from the country of, you know, bangers and mash, pie and mash, etc., etc. Yeah, cottage pie and shepherd's pie, exactly. Excellent choices. Excellent choices. I've not had that in ages though. I should make one soon. Oh, now I want one. Oh. That means I'm gonna have to get some gloves so I can make the potatoes though. Oh, pain. Pain. Some individuals may experience an allergic reaction to one nightshade plant, but not to not to others. This is due to the different types of proteins in each plant. For instance, an individual might be allergic to tomatoes, but not to potatoes. Yeah, but yeah, for me, it varies across them. Like potatoes is definitely the worst, followed by tomatoes. And then like the rest of them are just kind of like mildly irritating. But like tomatoes and potatoes really, really like break me out in a proper rash. It's really bad. Yeah. Strange medical facts. It's very fun. Of course, when I'm a magical girl, I don't have any of these problems because all of the allergies are just disappeared by the magic. Yes, that's how it works. That's how it works. Ingested versus contact versus inhaled. Yeah, see, I mostly have contact allergies. I have one ingestion allergy, which is the cow's milk, and the rest of them are all contact. But funnily enough, the cow's milk one is also a contact one. Basically, I think I just have really, really, really sensitive skin. You're from potato country. Unironically, actually, yes. Like, I mean, they grow really well across the UK and Ireland, so, you know. Bangers and mash, toad in the hole, roast potatoes and Sunday roast. I don't know what we ate before the Columbian exchange. It's so true. It was just bread, wasn't it? We just ate a lot more bread. But then, like, it's really okay. This might be a controversial opinion, but like, I hate square bread. You know, like the one, like the long life bread that just comes in a packet and then it lasts for like a week and it's square. Oh no, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Yeah, I'm a bit of a bread snob. I can't cope with it. I need to have like the nice bakery bread. Otherwise I get very sad. Because like the square bread just tastes like plastic to me. I don't know. It doesn't it doesn't taste right. There's something strange about it. Something threatening about it. Dunno. Are spicy peppers more or less irritating than bell peppers? They're about the same. They're about the same. But then, like, obviously the spicy peppers burn. So, like, I get the itch and then I itch it and then, like, without thinking and then it burns. So I would say, like, qualitatively it's worse as an experience. But overall it's fine. Like, it's comparable, if that makes sense. I don't know. Not being able to eat them, but... Oh, not being able to eat them, but not touching them. Yeah. Well, I eat but don't touch. I'm scared to touch. Yeah. I still have like I made the mistake of touching some potatoes like 2 weeks ago and my hands are still like not looking happy. So it lasts for a while. It's very sad. What's the mayo and potato ratio that you can ingest without having issues? Well, assuming it's vegan mayo, I'd be completely fine to have any ratio. If it was egg mayo, then, you know, I just wouldn't. Because I wouldn't eat that. But yeah, if it was vegan mayo, I'd be fine. I could just ingest large quantities of it. In fact, that is my preferred method for eating like chips, fries, is to have mayo with them. Which when I was growing up, I was always told like, oh, that's really weird. Why do you do that? And then I went to like Europe, like mainland Europe, and then everyone was like, yeah, that's normal. And I was like, why am I being bullied then? Apparently it's not normal. I just think that British people have not awoken to the wonders that is mayonnaise. I don't know. The cow's milk one might be a non-immediate allergy. It is, yes. I wonder if histamines play a role. Probably. I mean, I'm on antihistamines. That's one of the medications that like messes with various things if I eat them. So yeah, I think, is it? That might be one of the ones I'm not meant to have with grapefruit. I don't know. I don't remember. I just know I can't have grapefruit and then like some herbs. So generally I just steer clear of like herbal teas unless I know for certain it's safe, you know? I can't tolerate white bread. It's so off-tasting. Right, okay, this is the thing, yeah? This is the thing. I think there is a very, very significant difference. I'm willing to test this statistically. I think there is a significant difference between square white bread, the one that comes in a packet and is like, you know, long life, versus actual, like, you know, bakery white bread. Like the difference, ridiculous. Once you've had good white bread, you can't go back to square bread. Okay. And like I've done enough traveling now for conferences and stuff that I know what good bread is. So I get very, very upset when there is only square bread in the supermarket. No. I only get it if I literally have no other choice. And even then I never get the white one. I always get the what they called, like the wholemeal granary one with the seeds, because that one doesn't taste as plasticky, but I think it still has a plasticky aftertaste. Yeah. I can't. Oh yeah, we know. The magical girl body is essentially a doll made of magic with the soul hosted in the Psypin. This is true, actually. I'm not actually a real person. I'm just like I'm an entity that is entirely stored in the Psy. The magic is stored in the Psy. Yes. Here in Brazil, we have washed potatoes, basically cleaned, and brushed potatoes. They just brush most of the dirt out, which is the one you can't touch. They're fine if they're like inner skin. It's just when they're cut into, it's the inside of the potato that gives me the rash, which is also very strange. So like I can carry a potato that hasn't been peeled, but the second it's peeled, it breaks me out in a rash. Very strange. Maybe the Irish are part potato and your body is just reacting to cannibalism. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I've had it my whole life, to be fair. No, not my whole life. I've had it most of my life, to be fair. But it does, yeah, I don't know. It's a strange one. It's a strange one. I've never met like another person in real life who has the same thing. Yeah. But I also like, I don't know. I also don't really ask, like, oh, do you break out in a rash when you touch potatoes? Like, it's a bit of a weird thing to ask, isn't it? Ah, yes. What kind of reaction do you have to potatoes? Nothing? Red rash? Red itchy rash? Hmm? Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Technical, the ingredients that are not on the ingredients list, technical ingredients in the food industry. I mean, they're pretty good at labeling stuff here because we've got like EU laws, so yeah. So like things are fairly transparent, but I think it's just because they're stored in plastic. Because like when you, at least in the shops here, when you go and get something from a bakery, it normally is in like a paper bag, versus if you go and get something from, like if you go and get one of the shelf stable breads, then it's in a plastic bag. And I think the plasticky taste of the bag just transfers onto the bread, and I'm just really overly sensitive to it. Because it happens with other stuff too. Like it's specifically that kind of like soft, rubbery plastic, if that makes sense. Like that I don't know if anyone else knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. But yeah, it's like normally in a soft rubbery plastic, and I think that the taste from the plastic bag just transfers over a bit, and I'm just really sensitive to it. I just don't like it. Yeah. It's kind of funny because like normally I'm not very fussy about food. Like if I can eat it, I will eat it, but like white square bread is the exception. And it's also really weird because if it's in like a meal deal, I'm fine. Like if it's a meal deal sandwich, I'm not bothered by it. It's only when I get the bread and bring it home that it bothers me. So I don't know. It's probably just all in my mind. Oh dear. EU regulations. How I miss you. Yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry for mentioning that. Maybe you're a super taster and taste the plastic. Maybe. I don't think I am though, because I'm British, so I've got a bad taste of taste. Brilliant. I've got a bad sense of taste. I've got a bad. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Gotta go. Some errands for the graduation ceremony just popped up. Go do your errands. Go do your errands. You can do it. I believe in you. And good luck with the graduation ceremony. Whee! EU regulations. Yeah, we've got pretty strict regulations on like food labeling and stuff. So, yeah. Like, for example, there's really strict regulations on like food, like allergy declarations and things. Yeah. Oh, you're aware. Oh, you've battled. You've battled. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it does feel like not EU regulations, but like also implementations of them. Like Sometimes it feels like there's just a lot of paperwork for no reason, and I suffer. I suffer so much. I'm currently dealing with this. I've been having to trawl through a lot of EU documentation, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, there is so much paperwork, and it all says so much, and yet so little. Like I do feel like I've spent like 2 weeks reading through various documents and websites, and I feel like it all could have been like a 5-page summary, to be honest. So yeah, pain. Also forgot to say hi, Bobo, welcome in, and also hi, Zerkia. How are you both doing? I hope you're both good. I usually go for multigrain wheat. If I want sweeter, I'll go for sourdough, all right? See, I'm a big sourdough enjoyer. I'm a big, big, big sourdough enjoyer. So, yes. I am one for the sourdough personally. Yes. I like because it's always a little bit tangy, right? I like that. I think generally I'm just not a fan of like sweet stuff, and that's probably the other thing is that like there's a lot of sugar often in like shelf stable white bread, and I'm just not a fan. Like it's just not my thing. I'm more of a savory enjoyer. Yes. We have paperwork for our compounds. Oh, I bet that's fun. I bet that's fun. Bureaucracy for the win. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. I'm working on explaining EU versus FDA versus Prop 65 with regards to protein in my protein video. That sounds very interesting, actually. I would love to know the difference because I came across my first Prop 65 thing the other day and I was like, well, what is this? I am so confused. I don't know what this means. I don't normally think about this because, you know, I just talk to people and I don't have to think about that. Oh, gosh. Europe was never going to agree with each other without fighting over the free definition and clarification. That's very true. That's very true. Product of the process. Yeah. Hi, Woodsticks. How you doing? I think one of the few goods in the EU that doesn't need to be mentioned is additives in wine. Other than egg white, I blame the French for that. Yes, the French are too powerful. But the French are also the reason why like a lot of the stuff that I eat can't be labeled for how it looks. So like if I go and get a veggie burger, like any kind of dairy-free burger, they're like, it's not allowed to be called a burger because the French banned it. It's just quite funny. Oh, I was very upset about that when that happened because I'm like, it's the shape. You can't put a proprietary word on a shape. That's upsetting. Oh no. You're doing all right? Little angry Korean woman TM leaned in about your eating and said, why are we the same person? My soul sister. Oh, that's funny. Hello, hi, how you doing? I'd be more thorough, and it was the Germans, not the French for wines. That surprises me. Does that mean that they're putting more saucy stuff in their wines? Yeah, the Germans do make wine. I remember there's one, I think it's called like Riesling or something like that, that I've been told about before, and I was like, okay, sounds interesting, very cool. And then I never tried it. So yeah. Because I'm not really a big alcohol drinker generally. Yeah. But then also I was just like, meh. Meh. What's the yapping on the menu or just regular yapping? I do actually have some more of those questions up and I want to get through some of them. That's the plan. But right now we are in the period of just straight up yapping. And I don't know when it will stop or if it will stop. We'll see if I ever actually get to the questions. You know what? I'm like, I don't ever actually stick to my plan. Plans? I don't believe in plans. It's more fun without them, I say. Riesling was the right pronunciation? Yeah, because like in German, the I and the E, the way around that they are is that doesn't make sense. The way that, yeah, no, it does make sense. The way around that the I and the E are dictates how you pronounce it. So if it's IE, then it's pronounced E, and if it's EI, then it's pronounced I. Which makes sense to me. But like personally, I would prefer it to be based off the first one, but instead it's based off the second one. That's what I remember from my GCSE German. Yeah. I studied this for literally like 10 years and I barely remember anything. It's so bad. Oh no. I will shift my irritation accordingly. Oh dear. Wendy's burgers are square, but they're still called burgers. I don't think shape matters as long as it's flat ground cow. But this is the thing though, right? So apparently turkey burgers are okay to call burgers. Or like chicken burgers are okay to call burgers. But you can't call something made out of like ground up vegetables a burger. This doesn't make sense to me. Either it's a thing of ground up something or it's the shape. Either way, it doesn't make sense to exclude arbitrarily one type of product. It's strange and it's odd and it upsets me and I don't like the inconsistency. It really bothers me. Like, be consistent, you know? Oh dear. The Germans had a scandal. Oh no. Not a wine scandal. That's terrible. That's terrible. Chicken burgers are a heresy. They are chicken sandwiches. See, a chicken sandwich here is very different though. A chicken sandwich here would be like... normally it's like flat chicken, you know? Or maybe shredded chicken. But if it's a big chunk, then it's still burger shaped. So therefore, why could it not be a burger? I don't know. If you studied German through GCSE, I guess you could try your hand at some papers by German research universities in your field. I absolutely cannot. No, that would be terrible. I can't speak it at all whatsoever. I can't read it. I can't speak it. No. And also, this was a very long time ago, to be fair. A very, very long time ago. And I have not practiced. Yeah, I went to Germany in the last few years for a work thing, and I tried to like work out what was happening, and I just couldn't. Like, I could just about read some of the signs, and then aside from that, I was just confused. We call ground veggies burgers too, and there are Beyond Burgers too. Yeah, this is the thing, right? I think burgers might not be actually controlled under this, but like definitely I know that like you can't call... So like soy milk, for example, you're not allowed to call it soy milk in the EU. You have to call it soy drink because of this law. And I think also certain, maybe sausages also you're not allowed to, or maybe certain names for sausages you're not allowed to use. I can't remember the specifics, but yeah, it's very strange. It's very strange. I remember in geography, we did global warming and it had to be a balanced perspective. So we got the pros and cons and it was like, cons, everyone will die. Pros, south of England will be perfect for winemaking. I remember that too. Oh no, I remember. Oh gosh. Yeah. And then it was like, you'd have to be like, on the bright side, it will be warmer in the north of England. So maybe there will be more distributed population because the weather won't be so bad. But then you actually look into it and you realise that the main thing that climate change would do to the UK and Ireland is actually just altering the jet stream. So it would actually just make our weather more extreme. So that includes cold. We don't even benefit from warming. Terrible. 0 out of 10, do not recommend. Also, big chunks of the countries go underwater. Not ideal. I understand the Brits call it chicken burgers, but it's still heresy, and I've seen British chicken sandwiches and they made me... Yeah, I mean, our versions of a lot of things are interesting. Yeah. Yeah. How long could it be? 10 years? You said you were finishing your PhD. Yeah, no. It's a bit more than 10. It's a bit more than 10. It's a bit more. Soy drink, why not bean juice? I wonder this myself. I wonder this myself. I feel like bean juice would have been more fun, but it's also slightly off-putting, isn't it? But then I think soy drink is also very off-putting. And like oat drink, almond drink. Almond drink is the least upset, like off-putting out of all of them, but I don't know, there's something weird. There's something weird about soy drink. Hi, Karma Komodo, how you doing? They make up pretty good consumer forward laws. Yeah, in general they do. In general. But every now and then, like a weird one sneaks through and you're just like, well, why? This is just adding silly requirements for literally no reason. Like I'm a big fan. I think the EU a little while back passed a bottle deposit requirement. So that's a thing in Ireland now. And like personally, I'm a big fan of bottle deposit schemes in general. I just think they're cool. Like my favorite thing about going to Europe has always been using the bottle deposit machine. So yeah, that's finally like an EU-wide thing now, and that makes me very happy. But then on the flip side, it's like let me call soy milk, you know? So strange. So strange. I think calling nut milk juice would make more sense because you're juicing the nuts, not milking the riders. That's true. That is true, but it's also kind of off-putting to call something nut juice, isn't it? Like, no. The name of the product appearing first before the ingredients on the ingredients list is in food products is standardized by law. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I know that also is it a thing across the whole of the EU where like they have to also be in order of the proportion of them in the product? Because that's also a good law. That's also useful. People are already trying to move to more northern countries. Yeah, right? Right? Hi, Bushy. How you doing? Welcome in. Good afternoon. Hope everything is well. It is, thank you. Apart from my tea, which is disgusting, but otherwise things are good. I've been doing the excited bouncing child thing because I get to practice with my kohai when I go upstate and see her progress. That's so fun. I love that. I love that. Oh, I hope she's made good progress. You probably have an easier time picking it up again because you've learned it before. Probably, but I'm not really motivated to because like I don't really have a reason to learn it. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, like every single German academic that I have ever spoken to speaks better English than I do. So I'm kind of like, well, what's the point? There is no point. In fact, it's not even just academics. It's just a lot of German people in general speak better English than I do. And it's very upsetting. The amount of times that I've been somewhere in Germany and then I try and like order in German, like I try and order food or something, and then they're just like, I think it's easier for both of us if we speak English. And I'm like, okay, there was no need for that. Oh dear. Soy drink seems sci-fi, cyberpunk, like on a space station. It does, doesn't it? It sounds like astronaut food. Meal replacement soy drink. You get Nihongo Jozu in German? The opposite though, because like Nihongo Jozu is like, wow, you're doing a great job. But they're saying it to be polite. But like at least they don't turn around to you and go, actually, let's speak English. Like it's oh dear. Oh no, it's terrible. It's terrible. I don't really get that about the EU. So many logical and genuinely good changes, and then suddenly out of nowhere, something absolutely chaotic that makes no sense. It's all part of the fun. That's what I say. It's all part of the fun. Proportion is standard in EU and US. That's interesting. I didn't know that was a fairly across the board thing. Yeah. The blessing and the curse of being the lingua franca. Genuinely, it's genuinely quite sad actually. Like I wish I had a good motivation to learn another language, but then like yeah, half the time I try and speak in another language, the other person is like, "Oh, do you mind if I practice my English?" And I'm like, "I'd rather not actually, but okay." And then they don't understand me anyway because I've got a weird accent. So, yeah. I wonder if your pronunciation is on point. It's probably quite bad. It's probably not great, to be honest. It's probably not good. Nihongo Jozu is the face-saving version of it. That's very true. It's the polite way of saying, like, you're trying. Whereas, like, this version is like, I know you're trying and I don't care. Please, can we just stop? This is not efficient. You're taking too much of my time. Oh dear. I know speaking English would be much better. UK residents are the worst English speakers. Exactly, right? Right? Like the English, I had to unlearn the English that I spoke growing up because it was just so, yeah, it was just not, no. It was no. It was not it. Not it. At least we stole the title, The Language of the Franks, from the French. That's true. That's true. Anything to best the French, am I right? Oh, it's like a national pastime for the French and the British to hate each other. It's quite funny. But then, like, they hate themselves more. So, yeah. Sad times. Okay. What am I doing? I'm doing this, and I'm looking through here. You have to cut off English and consume German media to get a hang of passive vocabulary and training your brain to listen to it. This is the thing, and the other thing is, I think I said this last time, I don't really have the time. So, yeah, I just don't. I just don't. I've got other things I need to be doing at the minute. Maybe I'll start properly learning a language at some point, but yeah. I've been practicing daily Duolingo for 100+ days and I still can't speak it. There's no hope for us. I think my best streak on Duolingo was 400 days and, you know, I'm still viciously monolingual, so I'm not convinced that it does anything. I'm really not convinced. Yeah. I think it should be fairly safe to learn French. I've gotten the impression that they insist on speaking French with you, even if it goes poorly, useful for learners. Okay, you would think that. However, this is an outdated stereotype. I'm saying this from personal experience. This is not the way that France is anymore. And also, I did French like all the way through primary school and all the way through secondary school, and I still couldn't speak it by the end. So, you know, no. I'm nearly at 500 for Dutch. Nice. That's pretty good. I've given up. I gave up. Manifesting language learning motivation from nowhere seems tricky. Yeah. Because you need some kind of like, you need a goal, right? You need some kind of like intrinsic goal to get you motivated to do it. And with languages, because the progress is so slow, if you don't have that set goal, then you just probably won't end up doing it. And like, for me, there's not really a reason to learn another language because all of my work is done in English. And most of my life is, well, yeah, pretty much all of my life is English. Like, you know, I watch anime and there's like a few YouTubers that I watch with auto-translate on and that's it. So I don't really have a reason to, and I don't like that. I wish that I had a reason to. But I genuinely think I'm the kind of person that wouldn't learn a language unless I'm moving somewhere. But I'm not planning on leaving Ireland. I like it here, so yeah. I don't know. I live in a state where so much of the population speaks Spanish, but I still hit them with the most gringo Spanish because learning that language makes my brain hurt. I mean, that's valid. That's valid. Any kind of language learning hurts my brain in general, so yeah. Even if you move to a small German university as a professor, you could probably still get by with English. Exactly, right? Exactly. Like, when I went to this, like, German town, city, whatever, for the work thing in the last couple of years, I didn't need any German, really, apart, because, like, even the thing that really frustrates me about Germany is that you will go up to somebody, like, working at the Deutsche Bahn desk or something, and you'll be like, hey, do you speak English? And they'll be like, oh, I speak a little. And then they'll like hit you with the most fluent English that you've ever heard. And I'm like, what? Why? And this doesn't even just happen in big cities. Like, this happens pretty much everywhere now. You know? Just fall asleep to ASMR in the language you want to learn. You'll wake up only being able to speak in triggers like Dexter's Lab. Omelette du fromage, am I right? Oh, can you imagine? That'd be terrible. That would be not good. Oh no. When does this Civ game end and do we get the cultural victory? You know what? It's funny you say that It's funny you say about the Civ cultural victory. I've been trying to get a Civ cultural victory literally ever since I started playing Civ, okay? The problem being that I play Civ with Husbando, and he speedruns the science or military victory every single time. So I never get to the cultural victory because he always gets it first, and we're always on the same team as well. So it's like a win for both of us. And I've been trying to get this cultural victory for literally like, I don't even know, years at this point, and he's not letting me have it. It's a cruel game. It's a cruel game. Not knowing German would cut you off from some conversations and friend circles. Yeah, that's the case with moving anywhere though, right? Don't you pull that tired emote at me. Give me my cultural victory. Give me my cultural victory. Yeah, it's the case with that though anywhere though, isn't it? Like if you don't speak the local language, then there's inevitably going to be like cultural experiences that you just don't have, and people that you could have got on really well with, but you just don't because you can't talk to them. So yeah. I know quite a few people that have moved and that's ended up happening too. And they just end up living in like expat bubbles, they call them. But like, yeah, like cultural bubbles of other people that speak similar language. The only blessing that saved me while learning Mandarin is that there's no conjugation of verbs. Eat, will eat, and ate all fall under the same word. That's good, but that would also stress me out. I wouldn't know how to cope with that. Because like the languages that I've learned have all had more conjugation than in English. So yeah, I think going in the other direction would weird me out. YouTube and good learning language classes for the win, I suppose. Yeah, I need to find some good ones. Do you know hashtag local dialect in your area? It's funny you say that. I don't actually speak much Irish, and I feel like sometimes I should learn it because it is a language that they are desperately trying to stop from going extinct. And I always feel like I should learn some because like I only know very, very basic phrases, and even then I'm not confident saying them. So is this the app session actually going to last 11 and a half days like the title says? Time is relative. That's my response. Yeah. 11 and a half days for me, maybe. Actually, if I ever do a subathon, I'm going to call it the megasecond subathon. That's the plan. But there we go. We've got an answer for it now. Perfect. I wonder how endangered Irish is. It's very endangered. I think it's not, I don't think it's the majority language in any of the counties now, which is a shame. There's like pockets where it's still majority spoken, but yeah, I mean everyone learns it in school. Well, okay, everyone in the Republic learns it in school. Yeah. But yeah, there's pockets where it's spoken quite widely. And it is booming back a bit actually, which is quite nice. It was basically wiped out. Welsh survived better. It's kind of on the same trajectory as Welsh, to be fair, because like Welsh is also in a similar situation in the sense that like everybody speaks Welsh and English. There's not really anyone that only speaks Welsh, right? And then on top of that, they are actively trying to like get people to speak it again, like with Welsh language schools and stuff like that. And they're doing the same thing here with Irish. So yeah. Is there any media produced in Irish? Yeah. The Republic of Ireland state broadcaster, RTE, they do loads of stuff in Irish. There's like radios and stuff. So yeah, they have them. Welsh had more native speakers left. Scottish had a harder time. Yeah, maybe it's more comparable to Scottish. To be fair, the languages are very similar, Scottish and Irish. Yeah, it's classified as definitely endangered by the UNESCO Atlas's World Languages in Danger. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. Like I said, they're trying to teach it in school, so I think everybody does like a some kind of school qualification in Irish now. But it's not. Yeah, it's complicated. It's complicated. There's a version of Pokemon Red and Blue in Irish. That's amazing. What the heck? I love that. Definitely endangered. Children no longer learn the language as a mother tongue in the home. That's not necessarily true. I've met someone that learned it as their mother tongue growing up, but they also had English at the same time, so they were like bilingual. So it wasn't yeah. So I guess it's true in the sense that there's no monolingual speakers anymore, but there are definitely people that grow up bilingual in the home. Yeah. Because I've met a few. Okay. There are actually some questions. Shall I answer them? I'm going to keep working through the Q&A form thingy. What do I do here? This. Let's do this. There we go. Okay. Cool. Right. There's that. That's the link if you want to add in extra questions. There's no end to them. I will just do as many as I fancy. I guess you need to commit to only teach them Irish as a start. Yeah. And it doesn't make sense to do that because everything's, like I said, everything's in both. Like all the signage is in both. All of the documents are in both. Classes are mostly in English. Obviously they have set Irish lessons, but yeah, I don't know. There are schools where they just speak Irish, but they're not the majority. If parents only spoke Irish at home, it might work. Yeah, if you had like the parents speaking Irish at home and then the kids speaking English at school, that would work. But I don't know. It does happen. It's just super, super, super rare to happen now. Okay, so. Okay, I have questions. We're gonna answer the questions. Okay. I've actually got 2 forms that I need to work through, which is I should probably merge them all into one at some point. But we're just gonna keep going through them. Okay. With Irish, I remember one of my brother's history lectures, the Irish historian got to the point and screamed, and that's when we told the Romans to go home and to take their silly language with them. That's the most Irish thing I've ever heard, I'm not gonna lie. And then we chased after them with a wooden spoon. The end. For the megasecond to be true, so I must be moving at more than 99.9999998% the speed of light. I mean, I am friends with Z, so I've learnt her ways. She's teaching me her ways. Okay, right. So questions. Let's see. That one. Yes, we've done that one. Okay. Seon asked a question. Seon asked, what are your thoughts on the general public perception of psychology? That's a pretty interesting question. I'm not really sure what the general public perception of psychology is, to be honest, because I am not part of the general public in relation to psychology, if that makes sense. Like, I am a psychologist, so I have an insider view of psychology. Like, what is the general public perception of psychology? Do any of you know? I actually don't know. Probably Inkblot's an Oedipus complex. Yeah, possibly. Like sitting on a couch and being like, "Oh, tell me about your feelings." Yeah. Does the public even care that much about psychology? I think they do, actually. I think they do, because if you think about, I have a horrible feeling that the public's like awareness of psychology is probably largely based on a combination of like self-help gurus. Yeah, like the kind of self-helpy weird stuff. And you know, the influencers that go out and spread bad psychology takes. I feel like that's probably a combination of the And then also like the media perception of psychology is like, oh, let's just talk about your feelings. Like, I think generally from what I've seen, even among undergraduate students when they first join the degree program, like they don't really understand that there is a research component to psychology, which kind of blows my mind. Like, how can you turn up to do a degree in a subject and not know the basic like that? That always stresses me out. But there's always like a significant minority that don't realize. So that's kind of wild. So that makes me think that the general public must not understand that there even is a research component to psychology, in which case, like, yeah, I guess it's probably centered mostly around the clinical side of it. And I find that quite frustrating actually, because yeah, when I tell somebody that I've kind of stopped telling people that I'm a psychologist and I just tell them I'm a researcher now. Because why would I tell them I'm a psychologist if they're just going to jump to the conclusion that like I can give them therapy or something when I can't, because I'm not a practitioner. I'm a researcher. I guess that's my thought. That's my general thought, is that yeah, maybe research psychologists need to do a better job of like telling people that we exist, because everybody always forgets that we exist. Or maybe it's that maybe it's the public use different words to think about research psychologists that I'm not aware of. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. One is psychology is not a science, and the other one is psychology is an infallible science. Yeah, to be fair, that's probably fairly accurate. Like, I know that there's a big uptick in interest in like evolutionary psychology and stuff at the minute, and they tend to fall into the latter camp. And yeah, I think probably people who only think of it in terms of clinical probably fall into the former camp, and both of them are annoying. Both of them are annoying, because I am neither of those. I do science, I do controlled experiments, and yeah, I am in pain when people assume that. I know the views on biology is wild, almost witchcraft levels. Yeah. I've seen some interesting takes on what biology is as well, actually. I have seen some interesting takes. Yeah. I think the wider public still has the view that the field is stuck at Freud. Probably, to be honest, yeah. And again, that bothers me, because like Freud is considered like one of the founders of psychology, but we don't really classify Freud as psychology anymore, if that makes sense. We more consider it like philosophy. Like psychoanalysis, you're more likely to study it in depth in some kind of philosophy course rather than a psychology course. So I'm not sure what we can do to overcome that, because like he was obviously such a big name, but like, you know, you always hear about Freud and you never hear about Wundt, you know? That makes me sad. Yeah. Most people don't know what specific researchers are doing exactly. Yeah, that's very true. That is very true. I think, yeah, I mean, for me personally, I think that, you know, the like public outreach and science communication, I think they're super, super important parts of any scientist or researcher's job. But it's just that we, like, it's not really incentivized. Like, most of the people who do it, they do it because they want to do it, if that makes sense. Like, they think it's important and they want to do it. And also they feel confident enough to do it. Because my overwhelming experience with scientists or any kind of researcher really is that I will be like, you know, they'll be like, oh, you do psychom, that's so cool, that's so interesting. And I'll be like, yeah. I'll be like, what's stopping you from doing it? And they will say either time, I don't have the time, I have so much teaching and I have so much research to do, or like, you know, my company keeps me in the lab long hours or something like that. I just don't have time. Or they'll be like, I have the time and I would love to do it, but I don't know how. And I think because as scientists, we're very much trained to like, you're trained that it's okay to like do something and mess up. But I think for a lot of people, if you're like putting information out into the public, you know, you don't want to be spreading misinformation, and that's a scary possibility to a lot of scientists. And if they're not trained on how to talk about science in a way that's accessible, then they'll be too scared that either they will say something that is misinformation or they will say something that will be then spread on as misinformation, if that makes sense, through people misunderstanding what they're saying. That is my overwhelming experience talking to scientists, is that a lot of the time they're like, I would love to, I just don't know how. But we need to do it because otherwise people don't know what we're doing. So it's kind of an awkward situation, really. It's an awkward one. It's an awkward one. I know they misuse biological terms in wild ways, which is why when they pull, well, that's your opinion and mine is just as valid. No words have meaning for a reason. This is very true. I mean, the same thing happens with psychology so badly. Like the amount of people that I've seen, especially in the last like year, 2 years, just describe random things as gaslighting. I'm like, that is not gaslighting. That is someone being mildly inconvenient or getting something wrong and then admitting that they're wrong. Like, that is not gaslighting. What are you doing? Oh dear. Yeah, there's quite a few. Yeah, intrusive thoughts. Don't even get me started. Don't do being gaslit about the definition of gaslighting. Genuinely, that's how I feel. That's how I feel because I've had people argue at me and I'm like, first of all, gaslighting, like, I mean, it's a concept, but it isn't like, we don't really use it in research, you know? It's not like a validated construct. Like it's more of a way that like practitioners describe a pattern of behavior and like we would use much more like, yeah, precise language. But then it's been taken and just like, I don't know, just the whole language of like trauma and mental health, just it's just gone a bit weird. Like things are being really, I'm really glad that there's more mental health awareness now, but some of the use of terms has just been so wrong that I'm seeing now. It's quite, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I know they misuse, oh wait, no, I read that already. That's a brain moment. I guess a lot of people also expect psychological treatments to be like cures that's provided to them, not that it's a process that requires work. And if it doesn't require work, then they disregard the entire discipline. Yeah. 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 No, yeah. That adds up. I think you're onto something there because like therapy is difficult, right? Therapy is difficult. And you have to the thing a lot of people don't understand is that you don't just like go to therapy and then things are fine. Like I keep hearing this thing over and over again from so many places just being like, oh, just go to therapy. And it's like, that's not how it works. First of all, you have to actually want to go to therapy. Second of all, you have to want to engage in the process. And third of all, you have to be using a type of therapy that actually works for you. So yeah. That, I don't know. That's also a bit of a pet peeve of mine. But yeah, if you go to therapy, you have to do the work yourself. Like the therapist is teaching you techniques to help you manage, but then it's your job to apply those techniques. And a lot of people, yeah, that probably puts them off. And then there's the other kind of thing is that like you can see when you've got a physical illness, you can see, you get prescribed a medication and you can see it being used, you know? Like, for example, I've got steroid cream for my allergies. And like, I can see the tube shrinking, right? You don't really have an equivalent because it's not like a set course of treatment. Like, and therapy doesn't have any kind of like tangible thing attached to it. That's why I think that's part of the reason why a lot of therapists will like use workbooks and stuff like that is because then there is a tangible thing. But the fact that a lot of the time it's just abstract and there's not really a way for you to like actively see your progress, that can make it quite difficult. Non-psychology related doctors throwing around psychosomatic diagnoses without doing the physical test, ruling out other things probably doesn't help either. I mean, my understanding is that that's not super common to happen. Like normally, well, at least in the UK, like, you know, if well, uh, no, let's not have that conversation. Let's not have that conversation. I'm not willing to go down the NHS rabbit hole today. Not today. Maybe another time. Oh, pain. Oh dear. Oh no. I think the public doesn't get peer review in general. Yeah, I think peer review is probably a bit of an abstract concept. Like, I think, I don't know, because the concept of like giving something, like everyday people, like everyday life, you give things to other people for them to check over all the time, right? So like the times where I've been talking to people that aren't scientists and I'm like, oh yeah, my paper's out for peer review. And they're like, oh, what's that? And I'm like, well, that it's gone to some other scientists so that they can look at it and see if the science makes sense. And every now and then they'll be like, why though? That seems really silly. That seems like a waste of time. And like the example that I always give is that like, if you're applying for a job, one of the pieces of advice that I hear regularly is give your CV to someone else and give your cover letter to someone else so they can look over it. And the thing is that they've got a different perspective on it. They're coming in fresh. Then, and like when you're doing research, this is like even more of a thing because a lot of the time you are just so embedded into the project that you have been doing, you forget about the bigger picture, right? You need to have unrelated pairs of eyes looking over it to see if you've made any glaringly obvious mistakes, basically. And like, so it's kind of like when you're applying for a job and you're really invested in it, and then you give your CV to someone else, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, there's a really obvious typo in like line 3." That's the example that I normally give. And then when I explain it that way, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I understand now." Yeah, but it's quite you know. It's quite, it's like, it's when you say just peer review, it seems very like an abstract concept, but like the core premise of just like other people looking over your thing to make sure it is good. Most people get that. Hi, Sion, how you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. How are you doing today? I hope you're good. Let's see. I was asked for my CV a few days ago and realized it hasn't been updated in almost 2 years. You should update that. It's good to keep it updated. It makes it a bit easier to do it as you go along. I've got like a rolling one, so I update it probably about every month. Because I often need it, to be fair. It's often a condition for like various things I have to do for my work. Yeah. Let's see. If I remember correctly, someone said you'd probably have to anchor psychology from the ground up in the physical processes that happen, though that might be impossible. Yeah, I think it's because there's so many degrees of freedom, right? It's very complicated. That sounds more neuroscience, though. That does sound more neuroscience. I'm confused. What am I doing? Let's see. I've had a question on Husbando submitted a question on the form and it says, do you want donuts for Valentine's? Yes. The answer is yes. I always want donuts. In fact, I would like donuts right now. How romantic. It actually low-key kind of is because we had donuts instead of a cake for our wedding. So it's actually quite cute. Best question. I know, right? What a great question. Excellent question. Anyway, the answer is yes, I always want donuts. Husmod has this like tradition of getting me a really silly card every year. Like they're like I think he actually searches out like actively the worst card that he can possibly spend money on and then gets it. It's very funny. Consistently makes me laugh. Lots of donuts or one big one? For the wedding, we had, it was one donut each. We were on a budget. They were good donuts though. They were high quality donuts. They were very high quality donuts from my favorite donut place. Yes. Funding orgs often ask for a boatload of stuff. They really do. They ask for so much. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right? Because they want to know where the money's going, which is fair enough. They want to know who they're spending their money on, and they want to know what they're spending their money on. So that's completely fair enough. Yeah. That's sweet. Like, married 30 years, inside joke sweet. I mean, to be fair, we've been together for a fair chunk of time. Like, in proportion to our ages, we've been together for a fair chunk of time. I think we're coming up for, like, having spent a third of our lives together, which is quite fun. Excuse me, they are carefully selected with a lot of love. Thank you very much. Yes, they are carefully selected with a lot of love. They also just happen to be carefully selecting the worst ones you can possibly find. It is very funny though. It's very good. It's very good. Okay, more questions. Let's see. Someone asked, what made you happy today? That's a nice question. Also a good question. I think with the meeting that I had. That was very, very productive and helpful. Where my manager was like, "You're overwhelmed, why?" And then we worked out why. That was nice. And then also receiving my somewhat early Valentine's Day card. That was also nice. That made me happy. Okay. More questions. Let's see. Bushy has asked probably the most basic question ever. There's no such thing as a basic question. They're always good questions. Basic is still important. Can't do advanced without the foundations. That's what I say. Do you have any tips that you would like to share regarding starting VTubing? That's a good question. I kind of just started, to be honest. So my general opinion, I don't know if this is going to be somewhat controversial, but like obviously I've not been a VTuber for super long. I've only been streaming for like a year and a bit. So take what I'm going to say with a pinch of salt because I can't comment on long-term trends. And also obviously, you know, what I'm going to say is in the context of like having a very weirdly specific niche. Yeah. Hi, Sir Reckless. Welcome in. How you doing? Yes, British VTuber. Indeed. Extremely British, unfortunately. Insert just do it. I mean, genuinely. That is actually my best advice for VTubing. Just do it. So, in terms of getting started, I know that there's like a bit of a lot of people will say that you like need to spend money and stuff like that, and I think you don't actually. I think you don't. Thank you for the follow, Sir Reckless. Welcome into the participant pool. Welcome in. I'm good. Thanks. I'm glad to hear it. I thought I was the only one. Oh no. There are British VTubers. Admittedly, sometimes I wish there was more. Because like the thing that I like to watch. I watch most of my streams while I'm working, right? I watch other people's streams mostly while I'm working. So I always like to have streams on during the day. And like I've been struggling to, I don't know, admittedly I haven't been looking very hard recently because I'm just focusing on work stuff. But like most of my favorite streamers are like in the Australian time zone or like they're Americans that stream really late overnight. And I wish I had more like British people to watch during the day. Cause like I used to have a main one. I used to have a main co-working like British streamer, but he stopped streaming. It was very sad. Mako? I do follow Mako, to be fair, yeah. Do you accept Twitch raids? Yes. Yes, in general, yes. If anything, VTubing is one of the most accessible forms of streaming. Yeah, I mean, obviously you need to have a good enough like PC setup to be able to run the model and the face tracking and stuff. But I would say so, yeah. Like, assuming you have the physical equipment. Until you see live 2D toss, that's true. But to be fair, that's what I was gonna say. Is that you don't have to spend money. So a lot of people will be like, oh, you need to spend money on like a fancy live 2D model. You don't, obviously. Look at me. I made my model entirely for free. I made my overlay entirely for free. The only thing that I've paid for on my stream setup is my starting soon screen. So yeah, you don't have to spend money, because I was operating on a grad student budget. And even then, like, I don't know if how many of you remember my original starting soon screen, but like I made that one myself too. So you can get away with doing everything for free or for very cheap. There are pre-made assets, but like, I think that it's interesting because there seemed like there used to be a bit of a stigma against VRoid VTubers and PNG tubers. And that seems to be going away now, which is quite nice. But yeah, genuinely, my tips to start VTubing is genuinely just do it. Just start. I think the only thing that I would say is ideally have some kind of a concept. I'd say try to at least customize your VRoid model a little bit. So when I started, I used a kind of just base standard VRoid model, but I changed the hair so that it was like this. Yeah. So like at least I had something that was kind of distinctive, even though it was a base model. And then I learned how to do the pattern for the outfit and made a whole custom model. But yeah, just get started and learn. I think in terms of like learning how to actually just like talk, I think that comes with time. Like it's really interesting seeing, personally, I think it's really interesting seeing my old VODs from like a year ago compared to now. I think I'm way better at just talking, even when I'm like, I still kind of struggle at like thinking and talking at the same time, but like in terms of responding to what I'm seeing and just like filling up gaps and stuff, I think I'm doing a lot better. And generally just like being interesting to listen to also. That's something that you learn over time too, because like eventually you'll have people in your streams and they will respond. I guess also the other thing is like don't be afraid to share that you're starting to stream with your friends at least. Because like even if you only have like I don't know, like 1 to 5 people turning up to your stream, that's better than streaming to 0, which can kind of like, the thing is that the Twitch number is slow to update. So like if you look at your number and it says 0, there might actually be someone that's joined the stream, and by the time it ends up at 1, they've already left because you weren't saying anything. So yeah, talking to yourself. When I first started, I'd have like a list of things to talk about, but now I'm pretty good at just like yapping. Like I've really developed my yap ability, you know. Facts. And be careful getting into VTubing. I knew nothing about it, and the amount of people that try to scam you out of a lot of money. Yeah, that's true. You do have to be careful. Like you get a lot of like DMs on, especially on Twitter, like X, whatever, Blue Sky, Instagram, all of the above. You do get a lot of DMs being like, hey, do you want to buy some graphics? And like almost all of them are either AI generated or stolen. If someone cold DMs you or comes into your chat saying about like graphics or art or whatever, just ignore it. Like block them and ignore it, because they are probably scamming you. Yeah, so I guess maybe one last thing I would say also is like don't be afraid to interact with people. Like go into other people's chats and, you know, engage with their streams and interact with them on social media, because the more that they see you, the more that they'll know that you're like sound, and then the more that you'll build up a reputation for being like, you know, a sensible person, and then you can maybe be raided by them or do collabs with them or something like that, you know? Yeah. Yeah. I assume that even if you wanted to just try, you could still start with just still pictures. There's light on the computer. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You can always start with PNG tubing. So that there's software like the Fujitech Reactive PNG that you can use. So with that, you literally just would like go into a Discord call and it would automatically like react when you're talking. If you've ever seen that thing on streamer collabs, yeah, then you can do that. Yeah, PNG tuber shenanigans, exactly, yeah. I realized one of the reasons I was enjoying some VTubers and not others, and I realized the ones I was clicking with were British, and it was just an accent thing. I got over it eventually, but once I got more comfortable with the idea. Yeah, I do think that accent plays a big part of it, because like there are some accents that I really struggle with, and there are other accents that I don't. So like a lot of my favorite streamers are like either, I mean, to be fair, a lot of them are from the US, but a lot of them are European. I really like Indonesian and Singaporean and Malaysian accents as well. So a lot of them are from that area too. Yeah. Let's see. Did streaming help you with uni talking wise? Kind of, actually. It kind of did, yeah. Because I remember the last talk that I did at a conference, it was a lot of people. It was more than I get on streams. That kind of freaked me out a little bit. But like smaller seminars, like up to 30 people, I'm like, well, I streamed to that many people, so why would I be embarrassed? It's kind of, obviously it's different when people are like watching you, when people are perceiving you. That's very stressful. But in terms of my ability to like think on my feet and answer questions and stuff like that, and then also keep talking about whatever topic that I'm being prompted by on the side, that's definitely improved. Yeah, that's definitely improved. And also just like the number of pauses and filler words that I use when I'm speaking, I've noticed that's gone down as well. Because before, when I started streaming, I'd be like, so yeah, so today I was like doing the thing, and yeah. And now I'm just like, yeah, today, you won't believe it. Oh my gosh, today I did this thing and it was so funny. Like, that's noticeably changed. And that's like noticeably changed on a day-to-day basis as well, which is amusing, you know? That's very funny. I also noticed a trend that I got really got the ick from people I knew the appearance of speaking through VTuber models, which I think was just like an uncanny valley thing. I get like, sometimes that happens to me when they look very, very different from their model, but not always, because I think a lot of the time people's VTubers kind of represent themselves in some way anyway, if that makes sense. So like for example, like this model is based off of me, because my thinking was, if I'm a magical girl, it's not going to change super dramatically, right? I'm going to have a outfit glow up and my hair might change, and that's largely it. So, I mean, obviously this model, I'm like constrained by V-Roid, so it looks, I was going to say it looks younger than I do, but I always get ID'd for energy drinks, so maybe not actually. Oh no. Not for a while though, actually. Not for a while. I've not been ID'd for an energy drink for a while, but I have been ID'd for alcohol in the last few months. So, yeah. You should see mine. Looks way better than me. Well, that's one of the things I like about VTubing though, right? You can just express yourself however you want. I think that's very cool. Yeah. You need an ID to buy energy drink? Yeah, UK and Ireland has like both countries have a like law where you have to be over 16. You have to be over 16. That upsets me every time it happens. That upsets me. Magical girl scientist is a funny thought, right? I thought it was funny too, because like magical girls are meant to be like, you know, Genki schoolgirls. And like, what is a scientist but just like a terminal student, you know? That was my thinking. It adds up. It adds up. It's just, I've grown up and I'm a magical woman now. Mine has a Burger King crown. That's so funny. I love that. I love that. How will we get the kids hooked on caffeine though? I don't know. Tea, probably. tea, I think. Yeah, a lot of kids here just start drinking tea at a ridiculously young age, so yeah. Where I live, it's not law, but stores enforce 15, 16 years anyway to avoid the anger of regulators for energy drinks. Yeah, I think Ireland's the same. I think it's the same. It's not like technically a law, but it's a law in the UK. And, you know, the thinking was, you know, if a kid, like, kids could probably just afford to just like go, like, so I think it's not a law. I don't know how much you all know about the island of Ireland situation, but like basically part of it's in the UK and part of it's its own country, the Republic of Ireland. And like the thinking was that if they just travel north, then they would just buy things. But also a lot of the retailers that sell in Northern Ireland and in the Republic of Ireland are like the same company, and they just have a, you know, it's just a different office. So yeah, so basically just to make the life easier for the retailers, they've all just decided to enforce it in the Republic as well, which is quite funny. One of the few times that they're actively giving themselves more restrictions because it's easier. Magical girls, but they're burnt out middle-aged women. Don't attack me like this. I don't need this. I don't think I'm middle-aged yet. When do you start being middle-aged? Wait, I'm scared. When do you start being middle-aged? Middle age. Middle age is the age range for years, halfway between childhood and old age. Okay. The exact range is subject to public debate, but it's commonly used to denote the age range from 45 to 65. Okay, I'm not middle-aged, thank goodness. If it's 45 to 65, then I'm definitely not, so that's good. 30 plus? 25? No! Stop it. Stop it. That upsets me. With the power of my earned wage, I command thee to hand over these groceries for cash. Bold of you to assume a scientist earns money. Oh dear. You don't seem burnt out. No, I'm pretty happy actually, to be fair. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty good. Although to be fair, that is because I haven't thought about my PhD thesis for a while, which I need to start doing again soon. So probably there will be a return to burnt out Dere at some point soon. Yeah. Enjoy the high frequency of streams while they're happening, because there will probably be a period of about a month where the output will reduce a little bit again as I get ready for hard submission and then the Viva. Scary. 25 can be argued, 30 seems plausible. I'm very upset by this. Stop it. Stop it. I identify as an old fart and I'm 36. That's not old fart. Although I feel like old fart is not, I feel like it's an energy, you know? I feel like it's a mindset rather than an age. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes any sense. Old is a mindset. Oh dear. Whatever age is 1 year older than me, you're always elderly, and everyone 1 year younger than me is a baby. See, this is the interesting thing though. Like, in my job, I have to interact with people from quite a wide range of ages. But like, I do this really weird thing where like, if somebody has a certain vibe, then I forget their age. So like, I work with people who are significantly younger than me, and I also work with people who are significantly older than me, and I forget that all of them are not my age. So I don't know what to think of that. Yeah. Does your PhD thesis stress you out a lot? Yeah. 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 Let's not talk about that. No, we can. It's just the fact that I have to do a lot of annoying fiddling at this point. Yeah. So like there was a period of a few months at the end of last year where I was genuinely just really seriously burnt out because I was finishing my PhD thesis. And I've had loads of delays throughout the whole thing as well. So I was just at the point where I was like, please just have this be done. But like I'm getting feedback on bits and pieces of it, and I'm getting told where to make corrections. And that's fine. So that's the thing I need to do, is to just sit through the whole thing, like read through the whole thing all in one go. And then make the changes. But oh no, I'm just like dreading it. I'm dreading it because like some parts of the thesis I like, and some parts of the thesis I really, really, really don't like. So I'm stressed about having to go through and edit the bits that I really don't like because I have a horrible feeling I'm gonna have to do a lot of edits, if that makes sense. Yeah. Oh no. When burnt out dairy comes, Anela and I will throw something at you again, promise. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I want to like print out the first one and stick it up somewhere, but I haven't had the chance to get it printed yet. But I have a plan to do that as a reminder that I can indeed do it. The age that most people start a family at would be maybe middle age. I think that's a fairly good metric. I don't know. I've been told that being married makes me an instant hag, so I don't know. Pushing this age range up is just marketing to sell you things. So true. So true. Young adult is 18 to 25. Stop it. Stop it. I'm still a young adult, right? I'm still young, right? Right? Watching you was really fun. I have to run, but have a wonderful stream. I'll raid you when you can. Thank you, so reckless. Thank you, thank you. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and thank you for dropping by and for the follow. Hope to see you again. Haggis 30 plus. It's Japanese slang, maybe. See, I thought it was like what's the Christmas cake thing? Like you're not good after 25, something like that. Or is that like the step beyond that? I don't know. I don't know. Is middle age region dependent? Like in places with lower life expectancy, is it lower? I would imagine so, yeah. I would imagine so. What if hypothetically we drew Buffdere, like the Doom Marine, but instead of a pile of corpses, it's paperwork? That would be very funny. That would be very funny. I approve of this concept. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Oh no. Hence. Oh yeah. Yeah. After Boxing Day. Yeah, that's the one. The 16th century peasant was old age. If you lived to 26, you were seen as an old man. That's very, very true. That's very, very true. Also, hi, Moody Pool. Welcome in. I hope you're good. Yeah, no, that's very true. Yeah, yeah, I think about that a lot. Like, I feel very lucky to be born in the time that I have been born. Because, like, it could have been so much worse, man. Oh dear. Middle age is 200 plus, I swear, with how fast these AI researchers are going. That's terrifying. That's terrifying. I don't like that. Shoveling the paperwork into a shredder. Setting fire to my thesis because I don't want it anymore. Do you usually print out your reading material or do you use an e-reader or just a computer? I kind of vary. I have a drawing tablet. So I normally actually read on the drawing tablet. It's like a Wacom tablet. But I do also have an e-reader. But I don't tend to use papers. Like I don't tend to read papers on that. Normally it would be like books that I'm reading for fun. Because the e-reader that I have isn't great for taking notes. If I had one that was better for taking notes, I'd probably use that more. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't really print stuff out because like I don't have a printer and going to the university to print stuff out seems like a pain, so I don't. But I keep thinking I probably should print out my thesis. Even the thing is though is that I feel really bad because it's so long and I think I have to pay for it, which isn't ideal. That'd be very expensive. But like there's something different about seeing it on paper and being able to like physically like make notes about things that need to be changed. Not sure. I'm considering it. I like not doing of bad wheat and only drinking. Oh, being a. I like not dying of bad wheat and only drinking water being ale. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I am a big fan of having ready access to drinking water and not succumbing to dysentery. Definitely. Definitely. Age expectancy at birth was 35, but at 16, this already raised to 60. If you make it to 26, you have an even higher chance of making it to 90. That's interesting. Also mildly terrifying. So I guess, yeah, so I guess middle-aged would be about 45 now. Yeah. But then, okay, surely 45 to 65 is too late then. Surely middle-aged should be like 35 to 45, maybe. Since most people would live between 70 and 90. Not sure. Saw a lady do Photoshop with her PhD thesis like it was a pregnancy announcement. That's very funny. Yeah, I think I've seen that one actually. I think I've seen that one. That's funny. Never heard of anyone using a drawing tablet for that, but I guess it works. Yeah, because you've got like the pen, so you can annotate and highlight stuff really easily. That's my like life hack, is that if you've got a Wacom, use it for annotating papers. Seriously, it's like 10 out of 10 experience. It's very, very good. Yeah, so I just sit there with my massive Zatera library and on my Wacom tablet, and then I sit there and I highlight things, and then I export it to a note, and then I make a few bullet point summary of the paper. Yeah. I've got a whole process. But like the trade-off is that it's really difficult for me to read stuff like outside of the house. Like I do just read stuff on my laptop as well, but it's not the same. I like having the pen because it just feels like a bit more, I don't know, I just prefer it. Do you annotate papers with Adobe? No. I'm scared of Adobe products. I'm scared of them. I would not install an Adobe product if you paid me, I'm not gonna lie. No, I just use, there's like a built-in annotator in Zotero. I just use that. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Adobe is a company to be feared. Yeah, I've heard some things from, I've known a few people that have worked there, and the things that I've heard gave me actual fear. So, yeah. No. No. Okay. So, there is another question. Let me have some tea, and then I'll get to the question. Okay. So, peer review, that's clever. We're kind of doing peer review today, actually, if you think about it, because questions, I'm answering them. Smart, I would not trust Adobe with my dust. Exactly. I'm scared of them. Adobe, a curse name? Yeah, they're really, honestly, I'm not, no. No, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, the next question is, how did you manage to get through uni? That's a big question. Not using healthy coping mechanisms, that's for certain. I don't know, to be honest. I can't give an answer. So when I was during my undergrad, I had quite bad social anxiety, and I didn't really go to lectures very much. I only went to the stuff where like attendance was recorded. And that was not, I don't recommend that approach. That was not a good approach. Don't do that. Go to your lectures, even if you feel nervous. Now speaking from experience, I don't know anything about like the evidence around this or like actual clinical methods, but from my personal experience, the best way to get over social anxiety was to just go into social situations. So I think halfway through my first year of uni, someone that I knew kind of casually asked me like, hey, do you want to join the committee for this university society? And I was like, I mean, I like organizing things. I don't have to talk to people, right? I just like organizing things and doing paperwork. So yeah, sure, I'll be the secretary or whatever. And then I joined, and then I was forced to talk to people because turns out being on the committee meant that they wanted me to go to events. Wild, who would have guessed? So I then started socializing a significant amount, and then I also ended up by accident in like a study group, and we would hang out like between lectures and stuff like that. And then the more that I socialized, the less nervous I got, which was kind of wild. But yeah, having a network of people who were keeping me accountable to like actually get stuff done, that was a big part of it, to be honest. Structure, like, because my degree was very unstructured in the sense that like there weren't that many classes. But I forced myself to try and do a 9 to 5 most days. So that helped. Yeah, so like if I had a class, I don't know, let's say I had like a 9 a.m. class, I wouldn't just like leave after the class was done. I would, stay on campus and I'd have my lunch on campus and I'd spend the whole afternoon like in the library actually just doing my work. And sometimes I had other people with me for accountability and sometimes I'd go on my own. It just depended on what I felt like I needed. But the other thing that really helped for me personally was like finding spaces on campus where I felt like I could focus. Because like some places are really, really loud. And like the library was big and there was a lot of people and the lights were bad and I found that really overwhelming. So I didn't go there very often. Except I found like a corner where it was like there was a window, so it was naturally lit. And then it was like in the quiet area and it was kind of, tucked away in a weird place. So there weren't that many people either. So once you found like a little space like that you can go to fairly consistently, that helps. Yeah. So yeah, building in structure, forcing yourself to socialize, even if you really, really don't want to, and finding a place on campus where you can be productive. Because like working from home is great, but if you haven't built up the right mindset and the right habits around working from home, it can be really, really counterproductive. So yeah, trying to do that, I guess. That was my experience and my learnings. But again, I don't know anything about the evidence around it, so take it with a pinch of salt. Yeah. What are healthy coping mechanisms anyway? I mean, that's true. I did also have a horrible caffeine addiction. I had a lot of coffees. Thank you for the follow, Moody Pool. Welcome into the participant pool. You might have to take part in my research now. Who kept me on track? It honestly me. I'm just like, to be fair, it was also partially personality. Oh, you're following and running off? Time to bash nails with large hammers? I have so many questions. I assume you're going to work or something. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Yeah, no, I'm just the kind of person that's like quite intrinsically motivated to learn stuff. So that helped. And then I only really had like a few modules throughout my whole undergrad where I was like really, really not interested. And those ones I did really struggle with. Like, I remember there was the running joke in this house is child development. I hated child development. I just found it so boring. I thought the evidence base for it was really shaky. I didn't see how I would ever use it in my life. And like trying to get through those classes was a struggle. It was a struggle. And it was my worst grade by a very, very, very significant margin as well. So yeah. Yeah. I guess my other like piece of advice, I think this is just for learning generally, is that like try to connect what you're doing to stuff that you're interested in. Because like if you're being forced to learn something because it's on the curriculum, that like if you feel forced, then you're going to kind of naturally kind of react against it. So if you don't have a natural interest in the thing that you're studying, try to find a way to be interested in it by linking it to something that you do find interesting. So I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head, but like I said, I was quite interested in this stuff anyway, so I kind of struggled to need to link I didn't struggle. I didn't need to link it. I guess biological psychology, that wasn't really biological psychology. I was good at it, but I wasn't like massively intrinsically interested in it, if that makes sense. So yeah. What I did with that was that I tried to map it onto things that I did find interesting. So like, for example, I'd look at like how different brain areas contributed to neurodivergence, or how different brain networks did. Or I'd think about like, okay, I need to learn the mechanism of how a neuron works. Like, how might this be useful, or how might this knowledge be applied to something that I care about? Like, I'm kind of struggling to think of things off the top of my head because, like I said, I've always been like, I'm a very just like, I do stuff because I'm interested, if that makes sense. Like, I'm quite bad at forcing myself to do things that I'm not interested in. And I've been quite lucky in the sense that like the things that I'm interested in, I've managed to make a career out of it. Like I do recognize that is lucky, but yeah. Yeah, when you can't, just like try your best to find things to link it to. I mean, actually, no, you know what is a good example is language, right? I always struggled with French because I just don't care. There's no reason for me to want to learn French, right? I have nothing drawing me to learn French. But like when I was learning Japanese, I was very interested in it. And I spent a lot of time like trying to learn it because I was interested, because I'm a weeb. So yeah. So that's a good example, I think. I can't think of a psychology example off the top of my head though. I had this professor with this lovely soothing Italian accent that I struggled not to get lulled to sleep to. You know what? I had one too. I had one lecturer who had like a really nice accent, but like his voice was also kind of monotone. And I also had like a 2-hour commute each way. So I would turn up absolutely exhausted before I'd even started. And yeah, I did actually fall asleep in one of his lectures, and I felt so bad because it was on a topic I was actually really, really interested in, but it just was, oh, it was too much. It was too much. I couldn't do it. Oh dear. Oh dear. Despite being antisocial, so did I join a computer club at my university, computer science here. But when we were 3 people in a room in the basement with our own coffee maker, this was probably the best decision I had. Yeah, to be honest, my society was kind of similar. It was also very, very small. And there were, not many people would turn up to the events, and we would have catering, and all of it was stuff that I could eat because I was the one ordering it. So, so I would just get to eat large amounts of nice food. Yeah, it was pretty good. Gonna have to smoke bomb out, but I'm gonna front load some casework for now. Good luck with it, Bushy. You can do it. If I don't pop back up later, have a wonderful day. And once again, thank you for the advice. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Yeah, you can. You know what? If you do start VTubing, 100%, tell me, and yeah, I can help you get going if you want. I'm always excited to help. Anyone that wants to do educational VTuber stuff, because I don't know, I just think it's very cool. And like, I don't know, there's just so many people doing such cool stuff, and there's so much potential for it, and I get excited. Yes. Yes. I prefer the term differently social. That's literally me. Literally me. I'm differently social. I'll take you up on that offer. Thank you. I hope you do. I hope you do. I hope the rest of your day goes well as well. I'm struggling for words. It's getting late. I hope the rest of your day goes well too, and good luck with your casework. You can do it. Okay. Maybe let's do another question. This one I can't answer, but it's funny, so I'm going to read it out. I can't answer this. I'm not giving an answer to this. It says, do I have ADHD if I hate people that are walking in front of me slowly? I always feel like I'm walking in a race. I don't know how to respond to that. I'm not a clinical psychologist, so I can't like respond to that. But that's, I mean, even if I was, I wouldn't respond to it anyway, but that's quite funny. Why do people hate that when people walk slowly in front of them? Are you okay, I despise slow walkers with a passion. Okay, that's valid. This is something I've had to train myself out of, right? Because like London is like, everybody has to go at least at 7 miles an hour. And if you're not, then you are just getting run over. There was this one time where I made the mistake of walking kind of slowly because I was tired, and then I am not joking, it was literally on like Oxford Street or something as well, and someone literally just walked like full pelt into me, like as in they were going at full speed, and it was a man that was at least a foot taller than me, and he just walked at me, like he just walked through me, and I nearly fell over. Yeah. So I had to learn how to walk quickly in London, and then I moved to Ireland and I've had to learn how to slow down again. Because people here walk really, really slowly. So I'm not as bothered by it as I used to be. But every now and then, if I'm already in a bad mood, there would like walking behind people will just, it would just trigger my inner London rage. And I'll just be like, excuse me, can you not take up the entire path? The paths are pretty wide and you're taking up the whole path. You're a group of 5 people. Why are you all walking in a line? Yeah, that happens sometimes. I try and control it though. I do try and control it. I do my best. I dislike when people spread out blocking entire paths or stop right outside the entrances to talk. Yeah, stopping outside of entrances or like stopping in the middle of the pathway to check their phone, those annoy me. And it's also just brought back a core memory. This has just brought back a core memory. When I was like a teenager and I was walking to school, every single day I would come out of my road and go onto the next road, and every single day there would be like a woman with her entire family of like 5 children, and they would all be holding hands spread out across the pathway. And like I couldn't even go into the road to walk around them because it was like a major road, so I would have died. So I was like, okay, I just got to walk behind you, because I was also really socially anxious, so I was too awkward to like be like, excuse me, do you mind if I get past? And I am not joking when I say this. I was late to school every single day for 6 months. 6 months. Because I was too awkward to say, please, can I get past? I am going to be late. I had like 7 detentions at school because I kept being late. And eventually they asked me, why do you keep being late? And I was like, there's a woman that walks in front of me and I'm too scared to ask her to move. And they were like, that's not real. That can't be real. You're lying. And I was like, no, I'm being serious. And they were like, no way. And then I just in the end, like after I had a few detentions, they like, you know, did the whole thing where they like inform someone at home, and then I was asked why, and then I was like, this is why, and they were like, you know, you can just go a different route. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. And then I went a different route from then on, and I was never late again. So yeah. That was that that was my that was what I was like when I was a teenager. Yeah. I certainly wouldn't have got up and talked in front of a room full of scientists about my research. Let's put it that way. Such an easy solution. I know, right? I know. Checks out, yeah. Did you forget you could take a different route? I don't know. I think because I think it's just like my tendency is to just go the same route every time. And like when it just doesn't compute in my brain that I can do a different route, you know? Because like I have to do a whole mental readjustment to go a different route, and it upsets me. So yeah, I just didn't think. I just didn't think. Hi, Tayu. Quack indeed. Thank you for the quack. I hope you're doing okay. And I assume you're lurking. Thank you for the lurk. Take an earlier bus. No, see, no, because I was walking, so there was no earlier bus. I could have taken a bus, like 2 stops down the road to get past her. And actually, I did once consider doing that, but I thought that would be a waste of money because I didn't have much money. So yeah, so I just got locked. Yeah, exactly. I had a tendency to get locked into a way of doing things, so I just kept doing it the same way. It's kind of funny because I'm not like this anymore. Like I'm a bit, as I've got older, I've got a lot better at just like thinking on my feet and like working out, oh, I can actually just go a different route if the road's blocked. Like I would never do that now. I don't know. I was an interesting teenager. In 20 years of life, I have never had a pen explode on me, but so far in the last week, I've had 2 while watching your stream. Coincidence? They can't handle my... What can't they handle? What can't the pens handle? Me. I don't know. I don't know. I would love to say that is a coincidence, but I gotta say, that is mighty suspicious. Perhaps even a conspiracy. Chop. You're probably still like this, you just develop more patterns. That's very true, actually. I probably am still like it. Brain already compiled to walk to school.exe and -03, so true. I have to go the pre-programmed route, and if I can't, I get very upset and it crashes. Oh no. Proud of you, thank you. I'm doing my best to become a more well-rounded person. A more well-rounded and functional person. Just dropping by for a moment, actually. I'm not at home right now, so hard to properly lurk. Thank you for dropping by, Tayu. Thank you. The pens fear mightier pens, genuinely. The pens fear me. The pen is mightier than the sword, and I am mightier than the pen. What does that say? It's like a really weird game of rock, paper, scissors, though, because the sword is also mightier than me, actually. No, I think yeah. Okay, yeah, no, it is a weird rock, paper, scissors. Okay. Elemental weakness. The pen is mightier than the sword, Dere, or something. Exactly. Being a functional adult is overrated anyway. I agree. Although I aim to be semi-functional, you know. I aim to be functional enough so that people think that I'm functional, but not functional enough that I know that I'm not. Do you know what I mean? Back from cleaning ink off my face. I'm so sorry. That's my real magical girl power. It wasn't the perception the whole time. It was just I spontaneously make pens explode. It's not a very good power. It only works against very specific kinds of monsters. Oh dear. Good at masking as a functional person. Exactly. Although the thing is that I'm also, as I'm getting older, I'm also masking less. Like at my work, I am just unapologetically neurodivergent and everyone's completely fine with it. It's quite funny. I really appreciate that. I feel very lucky in that regard. Oh dear. At what point does one get good at life? I wonder this myself. I'm still waiting to find out. I'm still waiting. Get a load of Miss Semi-Functional over here. Yeah, I mean, I have to be at least semi-functional. Like, I can't deny the fact that I have survived this many years without having... Like, I haven't ended up on dumb ways to die, you know? So there's something there. And, you know, I've got a job. And a relationship, so I'm semi-functional, but like just don't look at the large collection of strange things accumulating on my desk, you know? And don't ask me about how overdue my dentist appointment is, you know? Wait, that's Mrs. Semi-Functional. That's very true. That's Dr. Semi-Functional to you, thank you very much. No, not yet. One day. I'm very close to being Dr. Semi-functional. How exciting. How very good. How good, yes. Not for another few months, that's true. It's probably not going to be until like April or something, right? So, yeah. Not yet, but soon. Very soon. Wow. Semi-functional. I've seen the suggestion that being locked into working on problems can be very useful evolutionarily. Yeah, it may well be. It may well be. But like I feel like my default is like being too locked, you know? Like, you know when they're like you're locked in? I'm like locked in, as in like not even like a hurricane or an earthquake would pry me loose. So that's not good. Yeah. You are absolutely losing those Darwin Awards. Well, I haven't yet, so that's good. That's good. You seem pretty functional with your support system. Somewhat. Semi-functional. The thing is that most of my support system is people that I don't really see in real life, if at all. So yeah, so I have a good support system. It's just like largely mediated by the internet, and that includes my work. Like, yeah, most of the people I work with, I don't physically see very often. So yeah. So like it's a functional network, but it's semi-functional because it's not what people would consider necessarily functional, if that makes sense. Thank you for the posture check, Astro. I am sat up straight, I swear. I am. Look at me. I'm so postured. I don't know. I just think the face looks funny when I do that. I don't know. Okay. Should we do another question? Let's see. It's from Nightmind. We've got a question from Nightmind. What was the most frustrating statistics, inconsistency, or error? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head. Frustrating statistics, inconsistency, or error. There's nothing immediately coming to mind. Probably something that I've done actually. In one of my PhD chapters, I did like all of my analyses and I had them checked over by my advisor. And then I went back to it like a month later to make some edits. And then I realized, oh, hang on a second. This actually is not what I'd pre-registered that I was going to do. So I think that I'd said that I was going to exclude a certain subgroup and then I didn't. And I was like, oh. And then I had to go through and run all of my analyses again, which was partially okay because it was in R, so I could literally just press the run button and it just, after I'd made the changes, it just did it. But like putting all of the numbers back into the chapter, oh my gosh, that was a pain. So I guess, yeah, the most frustrating statistics, inconsistency, or error was my own error. And it was an error that cost me probably about a week of my life because it genuinely, there were so many statistics that I'd reported throughout this chapter that I had to go back and change all of them, including like the sample statistics, like the descriptors. And yeah, I didn't enjoy that. That was not fun. That was not fun. Yeah. 0 out of 10, do not recommend. Good you caught it? Yeah, it was good that I caught it, right? Imagine if it got to my defense and then they were like, this actually deviates from your pre-registration. What are you doing? That would have been awful. I'm not gonna lie. I probably would have cried if that had been pointed out in my defense. Sounds miserable. Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. It was fine because, like, you know, it was my manuscript, so I knew where all of the numbers were, but it was also just like, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I have to keep doing it. And then like after a while, I just got so bored of like putting in numbers as well. It was very tiring. Thank you for the follow, Sohakuni. I hope I've said that right. Sohakuni? I'm not sure. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in to the participant pool. You might have to take part in some research now. I hope that's okay. You've just signed the informed consent form. So yeah. I just thought of a question, but now I don't know if I should save it for the birthday stream. Ooh. Ooh. Interesting. Interesting. Probably save it, I think, also. Which also reminds me, actually. Here you go. Shout out for Tayu, because Tayu's birthday is coming up this month, and I may or may not be appearing in Tayu's birthday stream for a very, very small moment. But also, Tayu is generally lovely, so yeah. Please go and follow Tayu if you don't already. Paper argues human development ironically lowered the requirement for social competition compared to primates, creating a niche for highly skilled, repetitive, low social people. That's an interesting concept, actually. That's very interesting. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. I always forget to do shout outs for people. That's like that's like my bad habit. I have a theory that every streamer has like a bad habit. And my thing, like I know, like for example, sometimes people like when they get raids, they just like forget, like their brain switches off and they forget how to do anything. And other people, they like, I don't know, they don't know how to like skip over messages. And I used to do that, to be fair. I used to read out everything, even if it was half an hour late, or stuff like that. And like my bad habit is that I forget to give people shout outs. So I will literally be sat here and being like, this person is amazing. They're such a good streamer. I love them. And then I forget to give them a shout out so nobody can find them. That's my bad habit. It's terrible. But you reminded me, so thank you. Humans being able to talk to each other and work together is such a superpower. Genuinely, it is, yeah. It's why I find like, I want to learn more about like cetacean cognition, because like their social structures are so interesting. Like whales and dolphins and porpoises and stuff. Their social structures are so interesting and I want to know more about it. Also, thank you for the hydrate and posture check. Dead hyperspace, thank you. I will have some water. I'll have some water. Some people automate welcoming and shouting out raiders. The welcoming, I'm not sure how I feel about the welcoming. I like saying hello to people. Although I feel that one day I'm going to get a raid that's going to be too big for me to actually say hello to people. Like, you know, like, I don't know how to describe this. Like, I've never really had like a massive raid. I think the biggest raid that I've ever had was like 50 people. And that was pretty overwhelming. Like most of the raids that I've had have been like around the same size that I would be used to, so it like doubles my viewer count. I don't know, but like that still feels manageable, because like normally if there's a raid of like 30 people, for example, there might be 5 of them that actually do a raid message and start chatting, and most people will lurk. I like saying hello to people, and like I feel that one day I'm gonna get a raid that is really, really big, and I will just not be able to cope with it because I can't shout out people. I can't say hello, welcome in to everybody. Like, I could just imagine it going really, really fast and me just panicking. At least it'd be funny. Like, it would be funny. But yeah, automating shout outs for people that raid in, that is something that I have asked Husmod to one day eventually do, because that would be helpful. That would be helpful, because like trying to like say hi to people, like Husmod's really good. Soon, yes, exactly, soon. TM. Husmod's very good at shouting people out for me when they raid in. But like sometimes, you know, sometimes he's like not here, or sometimes he is busy and doesn't notice. And so sometimes I do it, but I'm very, very bad at remembering to do it. So yeah, that is something that I would like to sort out. People love panicking small streamers. You're good. Oh no. Oh, I live in fear. I live in fear. If it ever happened, I would do my best to cope with it, you know? I'd do my best. I'm adaptable. I'm adaptable. I'm semi-functional. It would be fine. We would make it work. I wonder about the evidence of how useful shout-outs are. I would love to have evidence of that too. My gut instinct is that like it probably is somewhat useful, but I think that the biggest driver of follows between streamers is probably collaborations or raids. I like raiding. Raiding is such a good feature. It's like, it's really smart because it's directly showing people another streamer, you know? Like, and you know, I haven't, maybe that's starting to change now, but like throughout most of my time streaming, I haven't been streaming enough that I would like run out of people to raid. So yeah. So I have like a few set, like I have not like a list, but like mentally I have I have people who like I know are safe to raid into, like they kind of do similar vibed content or whatever. And sometimes I just like, you know, take a gamble and just see what's going on in like science and tech or something like that. And if I see someone that's, or with the educational tag on, and if something seems interesting, then I just go there and we see what happens. But I have a feeling that raiding is probably more accurate because like you have a chance to make an initial impression versus like shout outs are kind of dependent on like just taking this, like the streamer you're watching's word for it, you know? I don't know. That's my thinking. Yeah. And then also with the raids, there's also a bit more social pressure, right? Because you can see the notifications a lot of the time of like people following. So there's almost like the social cue of like, oh, other people are following, maybe I should too. Yeah. That's my thinking about the potential psychology behind it. I don't know. I would love to like do research into it. It's super, super interesting actually. That's me just being nerding out. Ignore me. Ignore me. Raids have higher information because shoutouts are cheaper, like a more honest signal than shoutouts. I don't know. I think it depends on the streamer, right? Like, I only shout out people that I genuinely would want to shout out, if that makes sense. Like, if I'm saying that I like somebody's content or like I endorse them as a streamer, then I'm meaning it genuinely. But I know that some other people like literally just shout out all the time, and I can imagine that might, I wonder if there's like a, like if each streamer kind of creates a social norm in the community around that. I also know that some streamers are better at like indicating absolutely go follow this person than others. I would love to know how like persuasion psychology fits into that. That's also very interesting. I don't know. Do you prefer this? Do you prefer this size of an audience since you can read and respond to everything, or would you feel fine if you were to grow out of that? I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure. Because I've never had like a big stream, so I don't really have any comparison. I've been very, very lucky, to be honest, because like even when I had like when there was literally like 5 people, it would be like at least 2 of them were talking consistently. Maybe even most of them were talking consistently. Like it's always been a fairly chatty chat. So that's been nice. But I do like the interaction. Like that's my favorite part of it. I don't really see myself as like I don't think I'd be bad at like one directional communication or entertainment or edutainment or whatever you want to call it. Like, you know, clearly to some extent I could probably do it because I've done it even at like conferences and stuff, right? But yeah, I think, I don't know. I would never. I guess also the context around this is that obviously my day job is being a scientist and I like my job. Like I would never be like a full-time streamer just because I like my job. So on that basis, I would probably never get to an amount of viewers where that would be a problem anyway. Now, obviously that's an assumption, like maybe it could happen, but from what I've seen, probably I could manage okay. Probably up to about 100. I'm not sure how I would cope after that. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to think about. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to judge when you haven't got experience of it, you know. You know what? I opened my water and then I forgot to actually drink it. Classic. Classic. It's most importantly for Twitch, it keeps people on the site. Yeah, that is very true. Raiding does keep people on the site. It's kind of a win-win in a way though, right? Because like when people raid into you, you get new people seeing you. When you raid out to people, it's almost like a form of networking. But like for me personally, the most important thing is that I can just support people that I actually like their streams. And then for the platform, it keeps people on the platform because like the content doesn't just stop. You move on to the next thing automatically. So yeah, it's a smart feature. It's a smart feature. It's like the YouTube auto recommendation system, except a bit more controlled. Classic semi-functional water drinking. Don't call me out like that. There was no need for that. Networking for people who don't notice they're networking. Exactly. That's the thing. It makes it so easy. It makes it so easy that people don't even think about it. Useful in what way? I don't know what the / shoutout does in terms of boosting algorithms or anything. As for general shoutouts, it strongly depends on how much the streamer says about the person they're shouting out and how much what they say hits a nerve. Unspecified, go check out X because I have to say this. Shoutouts do very little, but I've gotten a lot of follows from people passionately being like, yo, get a load of Tayu. He does this and he's so good. Yeah. I've had the same thing. I had a shout out from Psychologists the other day. And he actually brought up my I went back and checked he didn't have the VOD public actually, but I went back and checked like a little clip from it, and he actually like brought up my stream because I was live at the same time, which I thought was really nice. That was really, really kind of him. And yeah, we got quite a lot of people came over because of that. Yeah. But then like with you, it's kind of interesting because like I can largely just do the go follow Tayu if you don't already, because like I know based on my statistics we have a lot of audience overlap. So yeah, so like I kind of consider that while I'm thinking what to say with the shout out as well, because like yeah, with you it's like you don't already, what's wrong with you? Hi Carbon, how are you doing? How are you doing? Definitely hard to grow if you have limited streaming hours. Yeah, it really is, right? Like the like it does seem like the number yes. I've been fine boomed. Yeah, no, if you've got like only so much time in the day, then you can't be live. Like the number one way that people find you is like through recommendations or shout outs or raids, at least on platform. So yeah, it's hard. Although I've been having some more success with like YouTube Shorts recently, so that's promising. From what I'm seeing, I had one short that like did pretty good. Wait, I'm thinking. Yeah, no, I had one short that did pretty good. So like often my YouTube shorts will like just get stuck at like 500 or 600 and then nothing happens after that. But then like I had one and it was such a silly clip. It was literally me being like, I say please and thank you to AIs because I'm scared of them. It was so silly. But I focused a fair bit more than usual on the editing for that one. Like I actually tried quite hard. And that one got to 6K views and I was like, whoa, that's a lot. What's going on? And then I did another one, which was an educational short about like DOIs. And then for some reason, I think because the previous one had got to 6K, that one just like popped off. And I was like sat there like, why? So I think like the second that you get one that hits something in the algorithm, it must be that then it's more inclined to boost your subsequent ones. So I got to think carefully about what I do for the next one. Yeah. It's been interesting to play around with it though. I'm going to test it. I'm going to try and like make a good one and then upload that, send it out, see what happens. Does it also get a good number of views or does it cap at 600 again? If it caps at 600 again, then my theory's wrong. So yeah. I watch a VTuber that says the same thing. She got really big, but is still adamant at never quitting her day job. I think I know exactly who you mean, and I think I watch her too. And she is, if it's the person who I think it is, then she is one of my favorite streamers. So yeah. Usually when someone gets shouted out, the decision to follow them happened before that or not. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Could well have done. Yeah, I think it's probably a combination of like persuasion, and social cues and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I think that's why most of the education creators I know of lean on offline content since they often have full-time jobs. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think I'm getting into a decent groove now because I'm very lucky. My employer is like very, very, very supportive of streaming. So, which a lot of people can't say. Like, I think scientists are kind of uniquely lucky in that sense. But like, especially me, like, I feel very, very lucky that my employer, like, I've been given the okay to even stream in work hours as long as I'm doing something work related, which is very cool. So I can do co-working streams again, which is exciting. But then like that's not feasible for most people, right? So like if you're working 9 to 5 and then obviously you're doing all of your life things around that too. Oh, I can't imagine. That'd be so difficult. Like like I said, I can, if I want to, I can regularly do co-working streams and I'm quite lucky in that sense. But then also because I work from home, I don't have like commutes or anything. So that also makes it easier. Yeah. If I was doing like a 9 to 5 in an office, I don't think I'd be able to like consistently stream. Tap the psychology interested TikTok and shorts audience. I'm scared of them, to be honest, because they do some weird stuff. They do some weird stuff. My main account has even got recommended Psydere shorts and it normally has a completely different recommendation. That's so interesting. Clearly I'm tapping something. What on earth? That's wild. I'm waiting for the day that my employer gets one. That's very stressful. I'm sure it will happen eventually. I think that because like to be fair, I have given my my YouTube channel to a few people at work. Well, no, I've just told everybody actually, like, yeah, I do this, and they were like, wow, that's super cool. And I was like, yeah, feel free to watch. Just don't maybe I mean, you can come to the streams, but they're a little bit more unhinged. Just a little bit. They're safe for work, but they're just a little bit more unhinged. You know how I am in a meeting when I've had a coffee, that, but like the whole thing. And they were like, oh, okay, fair enough. So like I have a feeling that like it's gonna start spreading out into people's professional accounts eventually. You walk in and you'll hear your voice on your boss's phone. Honestly, I would just accept it, to be honest. I would genuinely just accept it. I'd be like, can I have feedback? Can I have feedback on my latest short? What do you think? What do you think? Oh gosh. Streams are probably a bit more unmasked. Yeah, genuinely, they really are. They definitely are. Yeah, because like when I'm doing videos or shorts, obviously I can cut things down. Like I crop down all of the weird things that I say. So like if I go off on a tangent, if I'm like, I don't know, say we're doing like a journal club and then I go off on a tangent about like something really weird, I cut that out of the video because like it's not relevant to what people are clicking on the video for. But then I might put that into a short. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It sits you down now about the SEOs. No, not the search engine optimization. Please, anything but that. I think I've got okay search engine optimization. Like apparently if you type in psychologist VTuber, I'm on the first page. So that's good. That's what I'm aiming for. I don't think I'd ever get on the first page for scientist VTuber, and I've accepted that. So I'm trying to diversify, you know. I'm trying to diversify my SEO. Oh dear. If a short video probably has to read well in 10 seconds if reading well makes sense. It's funny you say that because like the optimum time that I've seen on mine is actually about 37 seconds. So like what tends to happen on mine is that if they're about 40 seconds long, then people will probably watch the video for the first 20 odd before they tap out. But there have been exceptions, like the most recent one on DOIs. That one it had like a 78% retention rate or something ridiculous like that. I guess because like the whole short, it was fairly short. It was a short, wild. And it was also like educational. Like there was a lot of information kind of condensed in there. But I'm still trying to work out what about that one specifically worked. The thing that I've definitely noticed is that like I've been putting a bit more attention into the titles. So because like before it'd be like, I don't know. Let me bring up an example so I can check actually. Let's have a quick look. Tries to test it with the same audience again. Yeah, I think that's why a lot of them cap out at 600 is that like that's the initial test. Let's see. Yeah, so like I had one that my original shorts were like, what is the Pomodoro technique? Or what's your favorite journal article? And like those titles are boring. You need to have something that's going to interest people and get them to click on them. The other interesting thing is that since I used to put like hashtags in the title of the shorts, and since I've taken that out, I've actually been getting more views on them. So yeah, I saw originally like someone say it, like a lot of people saying like you have to put some kind of hashtag in the short title, but I've taken them out and they've been doing better. So that in itself is quite interesting. Thank you for the follow, Bed and Breakfast 42. Welcome in. Welcome to the participant pool. Astro finding you through SEO, absolutely goated. Yeah, that's kind of wild, actually. Just opened an incognito tab and opened YouTube and entered Scientist VTuber and got you in the shorts section. I think it's just because I'm flooding the market with the shorts right now. Because like they're so easy to make. And like I enjoy making them. I got some really, really, really good tips from like one of my mutuals who's an editor. I don't even know if they realized that they were giving me tips, but I got some good tips. And thanks to that, I can like churn them out pretty quick now. And like they're pretty good quality, I think. Like, you know, there are worse. Yeah. Interesting. It's interesting. I find the YouTube algorithm super interesting. Also, I should say, I haven't said yet, welcome in Machiavellian Alloy and Phi and Pembu. How y'all doing? I hope you're good. How is everybody today? I'm a little bit less hyper today because I haven't had caffeine and also my tea was horrible, so I'm sad. Number one way to calm down a British VTuber, give her bad tea. Sad. But yeah, keeping the hashtags off the titles really helped. So like the last 3 that I did. Before that I was doing hashtags. At least I was doing one hashtag in every single one of them. So like out of the last 5 that I've done, there was one that was like doing weird stuff to people in the laboratory, hashtag psychology. And then there was one that was like scientists are biased but document it transparently, hashtag academia. And they did the thing where they got capped out. And then after that, I took the hashtags out to see if it would change anything. And then I did graduate student life be like, and that got 1.1k. And then the logic is flawless, and that got 6.8k. That was the one about AI. And then the most recent one was scientists love this simple thing, which was about DOIs, and that got 15k. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, what? What? Eh? So yeah. What made short production easier? I got DaVinci Studio. So like I paid for a license and it has a transcription feature. So it automatically like generates a transcript from the from the voiceover in the video. And then I used that to like skim read through it because I'm a faster reader than I am listener, like significantly so. So I skim read over it and I have a look and see if there's anything like interesting that I could clip out of it. And then when I see something that's vaguely interesting, then I like just select the bit of the transcript that would be in the short. And then because it's normally at the most like 3 minutes of footage, it's super quick to edit down and cut out all of the ums and ahs and stuff. And then I have like this plugin. I think it's called Snap Captions, and that I use that in combination with the auto subtitles to automatically create those like pop-up subtitles. Yeah. So that's like most of my process. And I can basically make a whole short in 45 minutes now, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. Gonna head out now. Good night. Good night, Tayu. I hope you have a good evening. I hope you sleep well. Thank you for dropping by. A/B testing, legit. Actually, yes, it is just a lot of A/B testing. I'm enjoying it though. It's fun. I've been kind of testing out different titles and stuff on here as well. I actually did I did a Twitch A/B test the other day. I don't know if anyone noticed this. Previously, all of my journal clubs were in science and technology, and I did the last one in Just Chatting instead, and it got a higher CCV than I was expecting. And I'm gonna try it again. The next journal club I'm gonna do back in science and tech and see if it changes. Yeah, that's the plan. What can I say? I'm taking a scientific approach. At least I'm consistent, you know? I'm consistent with my law. Put it that way, I guess. Furiously taking notes while backing out of the door. Yes. My plan is to like make a at some point I'm going to make a YouTube video where I talk about like the first year of streaming on Twitch, and well, I guess it would be the first like year and a bit, because obviously I had that gap. But yeah, and all of the A/B testing that I did and the things that I have learned from the A/B testing. Yes, that's the plan. That's the plan. Just Chatting probably has more people clicking into it. Yeah, exactly. And like you get more people being recommended you if you're in Just Chatting as well, I think, in the recommendation system. So I think that's probably why. Okie dokie. Right, what's going on here? Okay. Even if Twitch has no option to do pure A/B tests yet. Yeah. I mean, you can do it yourself. That's what I do. Okay, so you do tier lists in gaming. Big brain. Okay, so it's getting quite late and I have work tomorrow. Ugh, gross. But no, not gross. I like my job. I just don't like waking up. So I think it is time to wrap up. So we are today, I already know who we're raiding. We're going to go raid someone that's going to be playing Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which is one of my favorite nostalgia games. So that's where we're going. That's where we're going. So let me set that up. Thanks for the company. Thank you. Thanks for the stream. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. I answered a few questions. So we did pretty good, I think. We did answer a few questions for once. Let's see. We're going here. Right, first of all, there you go. There's the raid message. Psydere raid. It's fieldwork time. And then there's the other raid message about the grant application. So, yes, there we go. We're going to go raid into Vanille Vixen, who is also a psychology VTuber. I think Vanille's, if I remember correctly, Vanille's training to either be a therapist or a counselor, which is very, very cool. And also has a psychology hairpin and therefore is extremely cool. And so we're going to go raid. That's the plan. I've never played a Sonic game, but the YouTube algorithm is convinced they need to swamp me in it. You know what? That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's nice background content. It's very good background content. I'm a big fan personally. I was very, very big fan, but specifically of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I didn't really play that many. Oh, and Sonic Heroes, actually. I was also really big on Sonic Heroes. But yeah, I want to play it on stream at some point. That'd be fun. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. I am Not sure when I'm streaming next. Keep an eye on the notification as always. I have no idea. If you're not following already, you probably should, because I gorilla stream and I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe see you soon, maybe not. It might be a few days, it might be tomorrow. Who knows? Not even I know. On that note, we're going to go now. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you, everybody. Bye.